All right, what's poppin', Tub Nation? Welcome back to Tub Takes. This is a video podcast where I go over what's been making waves in the VGC scene. Today, I am joined by my co-host Adi.
Welcome back. I'm Adi. It's good to be back. It's a good to be back on this wonderful day. And Alex, before we start, I just want to say it's such a great day because I my YouTube channel has
Yes.
gotten 1 million views, and that's all thanks to you guys, you beautiful viewers on Twitch, the viewers on Twitch that go to YouTube. Uh, no one thought I could do it. My family didn't think I could do it. But I'm so grateful that all of my hard work that I've put in to this channel, along with Alex and the rest of the people on Tub Takes, are just I'm just so thank you guys so much.
Yeah, no, I don't let all that success go to your head, Adi, because I don't know. Something's off. And also joining us today are our two lovely Canadian guests. Just made finals in double finals in both guests made finals in the Victory Road tournament. We have your runner-up Dorian. How you doing?
Pretty good. Glad to be on here. Hello to everyone in Tub Nation.
I'm excited to talk to you about your team and stuff, and all these Victory Road tournaments that took place over the past month. As we haven't been around for a minute. Apologies to our guests, just a lot of scheduling conflicts. But our champion of the Victory Road December Challenge number 2. This is the middle one, right? Yeah, the middle one. Jeremy
Yep.
here. How you doing?
I'm doing very good. So hello everyone. Thank you, Alex and Adi, for welcoming me in this podcast. I'm happy to be here and ready to dive into VGC news.
Yes, good, good. We've got a lot of random things to cover, considering that we almost took the whole month of December off. It feels like. I mean, but nothing huge happening because, of course, we knew coming into it that there was no majors, no major tournaments, a lot of grassroots, but yeah, no regionals took place in the month of December. Because Pokemon Champions was, of course, supposed to release in December, and then they delayed it without telling anybody. Of course, of course, of course. This is all facts and not just me making shit up. Anyways, before we actually talk about the fun stuff, let's finish the intro, and that is if you're here now but you're not going to be around for the whole thing, check it out on YouTube, on Audie's very successful million view YouTube channel that he introduced at the beginning. Look up CK49 on YouTube, and you can find it there if you prefer to watch this at 2x speed, if you'd prefer to watch it tomorrow, if you'd prefer to watch half now and the rest later. Anyways, and if you have any questions for our guests, don't worry. The bot is not working. I'm never gonna get that back to work again, but I'll figure it out. That bot. Anyways, if you have any questions for our guests, please do leave them in the Twitch chat. We'll be reading as we go along. So if you have questions for any of us on here about VGC stuff in general, any topic, just let us know, and I'll make sure to get it covered. Anyways, with that said, we have a couple of smaller bits of news here at the start. I don't know if this is actually in chronological order in terms of like the oldest news to the newest news. It's going to be in the order that I have these links. So that's what we're going to be doing. Anyways, EUIC registration. We just have Sajin's tweet here because Sajin unfortunately missed and was going to plan on playing in this one. And I didn't have anything else that I felt like putting up on screen. But what this tournament was like, what, 1600? Is that what it was? Is it capped at around 1600?
Mm-hmm. Yep, we currently have 1662 registered, including juniors and seniors. But yeah, a lot. It's going to be the biggest tournament ever.
I was blanking. Adi, are you going to this one? I couldn't remember.
I am going.
This is your first one,
This will
right?
be my
It's your
first time at the
Yes.
European, at a foreign international. Yeah, I'm really excited.
Oh my god, yes, yes, yes. Yeah, no, that's so it's so exciting to get to. I don't know. I think that even however you feel about Regulation F, getting to play in what becomes the new biggest tournament ever, it just has a lot of prestige and excitement to it. So that part is always exciting. Is anybody else here
And-
planning on going to EUIC?
No, I'm not going.
Okay.
Now I wish I was going after after I won the Victory Road, but
Right?
yeah, I haven't registered because I'm already going to lots of regional in NA, so yeah, I passed on it.
For sure, for sure. Dorian, what about you?
Yeah. Yeah, this is my first season competing, so I was only planning on going to ones which are close to me. So I live in Canada, obviously, so to Toronto, but I'm not going to EUIC, and very likely not too many other majors. It does depend on how I do at Toronto for me. So
Okay, okay. But Toronto upcoming fast. That's super exciting. We're not quite at the
hopefully I have hometown advantage.
yes, yes. I was just about to say we're
And
not quite at the Audie, go ahead.
I was gonna say, is this the year that Kid Canada defends Toronto Regionals? I think it's been since
Yo.
2017 that y'all have not managed to win Toronto Regionals. Is that right?
Oh my god.
Yeah.
How was
I
that
think
that
we're
one?
gonna make it this year.
Wait, 2017 Toronto? No, I wasn't at that one. I wasn't at that.
Martin Gajados, I think is how you say his last name.
Got you.
It was the last Canadian winner of Toronto Regionals. Of course, you have defended Vancouver Regionals with Abdullah, but yeah, it's been a while. And also, speaking of Toronto, I just added this to the topic doc. There are going to be a few limited seats reopening for Toronto Regionals. If you haven't signed up and you want to go, I actually got into Toronto on the second wave where they reintroduced some seats, so it is possible apparently. But yeah,
Right.
so we do have a few more seats, probably very limited.
Did that one Phil, I can't remember. Did we figure out how many seats that one had? I guess that's a really hard thing to tell. I just know like 4 friends that tried and all 4 got in. And so it was like, all right, maybe they added a lot back. It was kind of crazy to see such a high success rate from that. Usually
Yeah, a lot of people I know for the second of Toronto registrations also got in. I think that was a very
Really?
large wave.
It must have been so big. It must have been so big because usually this is just like such a last chance. Like it's not really a heartbreaker. Nobody goes into it like expecting to be getting in a registration the second wave because they're like,
Yeah,
okay,
as
this is
someone who's like
all I
as someone
got. Go
who
ahead.
knows the venue, as someone who knows the venue, there's definitely a possibility that like there's more space that they got from the venue. So,
That would be cool. That would be exciting. Because it sounded like a lot of people were coming from, like, considering coming from all over. I know a couple of strong European players that are already kind of committing to go into this one. So, got to be watching out for that one. Yeah, lots of excitement there. But yeah, so EUIC going to be massive. Toronto, we're not quite at the preview episode for that one, but it is coming up quickly, and that's that's what we're all kind of waiting to see is how Regulation F kicks off when we get to official tournaments. Because we've had lots of grassroots, but I don't know, the official ones, that's where a lot of money on the line, a lot of championship points on the line, everything. Speaking of other upcoming tournaments, we finally got confirmation. Now, everybody, save your shocked reactions, try to hold it in, but the final 2 regionals are Los Angeles and Indianapolis. Who could have guessed? Who could have guessed that they were these 2 events? One of them basically being like leaked twice. There was the stupid thing that Audie posted. I mean, Audie, I don't know if you were like the first person to notice it, but you had that image where it had all of the lights where the cities were, and so far it has been 100% correct. Which is insane because it just pisses me off that they have enough. They can tell their graphics artists like, hey, we need lights on all of these cities, but also they can't tell us when we're going to these cities at the beginning of the season until halfway through. Anyways, and then yeah, Indy got leaked again from the Twitch schedule. That was the funny one where they said like Pokemon's Twitch schedule said like, oh, we'll be putting on a stream for the Indianapolis Regional Championships this weekend in May. And it was like, oh, you haven't even announced that officially yet, but you have a Twitch stream scheduled? That's interesting. Fun to know. And so, yeah, now I think we have official announcements for all of the regionals for the rest of the season, as we might expect. There was none, no other lights on that image that we were talking about, no other cities that we seem to be missing. So anything else at this point would actually be a curveball. Anything else would be an unexpected surprise. But yeah,
Like San Juan, which we did not expect and was announced, notably not a regional. It is a special event, so no prize money.
Sure.
And I think signups have already gone up for that one. I might be mistaken about that.
Was that the one that was like 4 days ago? Maybe was that San Juan? I saw
Yeah, signups
a
are
link
already
for
up.
it, and then I was like, oh, we are late on this one, so I don't know if I should even put it in the the topics doc. I saw there was a December 26th announcement or sign up thing. Thank goodness no Portland. No, I'm torn up that we don't have Vancouver and Seattle or Portland and Seattle or something like that. Anyway, San Juan registration is live. Oh, like still going. Maybe you can still get in. Anyways, Dorian, Jeremy, I guess I'll throw it to Dorian first. Dorian, are you doing either of these? So you said you were sticking close to home, so probably not. Probably none of these.
Well, Indianapolis is closer than Milwaukee, which I
That's fair.
did. Yeah, fun story about Milwaukee, which Jeremy can tell you as well. We were stuck in the car the entire time. It was a very fun car ride, but it was a very long
Oh,
car
yep.
ride.
Yep.
And yeah, like I think I might like out of all of these, the only one that I could even consider is probably Indianapolis. But again, like based on this is my first season competing, so like if I truly have a shot at Worlds, I'd probably figure it out by then, and that would also hinge on
Right.
my Toronto results. So again, it's still up in the air, but definitely a possibility.
Jeremy, what about you?
Yeah. So like Dorian said, we went to Milwaukee together, but like I drove all the way. Like Dorian drove 2 hours in total, but I drove all the way from Quebec. So I drove 40 hours in a in a single weekend. So it was pretty terrible, but I could do it again in Indianapolis. It's less long of a ride, but it's I want at least two drivers. But
Yeah.
LA, the flights are less expensive, so I'll go to LA.
Not gonna drive to LA.
No.
Okay. Well, just checking. I mean, the things we do for Pokemon at the very least, you know. I think
Yeah.
I've only gone as far as like 8 hours down to Knoxville. Is it farther than that from Chicago? I don't remember. Anyways, Adi, what about you?
I've done the drive from Toronto to Richmond, which was the worst drive I've done. That was like 12, 13 hours. So yeah, never done anything more than that for a Pokemon tournament. I will be going to Indianapolis most likely. If I'm here in Indiana right now. My family lives out here, so it would be pretty easy to make it an excuse to come and see my family. But also, hopefully by the time registration goes up for that one, I will know whether or not I am in a good spot to qualify for Worlds or whether I need to go to one more tournament. But yeah, it's going to be a regional in Champions. Los Angeles and Indy are both going to most likely be in Pokemon Champions, and I think that the more chances we get to play regionals and champions, the better in general. And so that's the reason that I really want to go to as many events, as many of these events as possible. I think it's
Right.
sad that we only have, I think, 3 North American regionals in champions, despite that being the format for the NAIC and also the World
Assumedly
Championships. I
in
would love to
Champions
see
too.
more.
I'm
Presumably,
every day
right.
I become a little more in the Doomer camp. I'm not dooming that hard yet, but God, like I would kill for a crumb. I would kill for a crumb of an announcement. But yeah, I'm doing LA. And I wasn't planning on doing Indy. I was planning on doing Orlando instead, mostly because Orlando is the first of champions, and that's a little more exciting. And I've been to Indy plenty of times for Pokemon, honestly. But I would consider going to Indy if like Champions is actually that dope. If it's like, oh, Champions is actually so sick. I want to, because I guess I didn't expect this when we were getting these announced, but Indy is the last regional, right? Indy is the. It's been I don't know. I feel like hasn't it been like a couple seasons in a row that the last one's like in Cali, or no, Milwaukee was.
No, Milwaukee was the last one.
Milwaukee was the last. Okay, I don't know. Something about Indy last just feels wrong. I don't really know how to explain it. I think maybe it's because Indy has been Nats so many times that it's like it being the last regional before we go do Nats in its successor region, New Orleans. It just feels funky.
Yeah. 2022 Indy was in May, so it does have some precedent happening in May.
Yes.
But notable also, I guess you point out there is a regional in Turin, that is the last regional of the year in Italy. But yeah, the last North American regional, and then NAIC, I believe, is 2
Yes.
weeks later or something like that. 3 weeks later.
Yes.
2 weeks later.
So yeah, definitely a lot of I don't know. It's nice to finally have the rest of the season outlined because we had to wait a lot longer for Portland last year for whatever reason, even though it was like all like it was so heavily rumored and everybody was talking about it. But yeah, we got confirmation on that one very late.
Speaking of things we had to wait far too long to find out about, you want to talk about Grand Challenge 4?
That's true. That was so funny. Where do I have that one? Adi, you willed this, did you not?
I know. I've also put this one in the topic doc. I posted a tweet that was like, so the thing is, like, it was pretty easy to deduce the weekend of this Grand Challenge because there are 3 regionals the weekend of the weekend of Merida, which is the weekend after Toronto. It'd be pretty weird to put it on the weekend of Toronto. And so either you put it in the very, very last weekend of January that bleeds into February 1st, or you put it on January 10th, which makes a lot of sense. But they didn't announce it. And this ties into what we were saying about the regionals, and it pisses me off so much because, like, we're all adults. We have lives. We make plans, right? You can't just you have to, like, organize things. And it is really frustrating to not know what my travel plans are going to look like for the rest of the year. This stuff is expensive. I want to book flights. I want to know if I should go to Toronto or if I should wait until they announce a regional like Indianapolis, for example, or Los Angeles, right? It's ridiculous that I can't plan my entire season out when I'm trying to go for the World Championships. And similarly, when you have to play in 4 of these GCs in a year and they know the dates ahead of time, they really should just tell us. There's no reason not to tell us as early as possible, or certainly more than 11 days in advance, because, like, I'm making plans for that weekend, right? I need to know if I am free on that weekend or if I have to play 8 hours of Pokemon on that weekend.
Yeah,
all
right.
the grassroots tournaments are organized way in advance, right? And they need to know whether or not there's going to be a big event on those weekends. It's just so ridiculous. But yeah, I did tweet about it, and then literally 10 minutes later, it got announced, which I thought was really funny.
Was it like actually like genuinely 10 minutes, 4:04, and then Victory Road has it out. They might have put it a little late. I'm seeing 12:30 here. Maybe I'm getting myself confused. But yeah, I think that the official it was just so much. Like, as soon as you posted that, it was just like there. Like, what is happening? Oh man. Do we have any GC fans in the chat here? Both, I guess, in the Twitch chat, but I meant in the call. Are you either of you two GC enjoyers?
I have 2 words.
I used to enjoy playing in the GCs, but now I think I've done only the first one this season so far. I think we need to do like 4 to have all our GC counts.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna do at least. Well, I think I'm gonna be more hyped to do them in Champions, in Pokemon Champions, but yeah, I don't think I'm gonna do this one.
Okay, just taking it off. What about you, Dorian?
Yeah, like, I was sick for one of the GCs before, so, like, because like, I probably can't really max out the GC BFL, so I'm just gonna try doing each of the ones that I can. But in terms of my opinions on GCs, I have 2 words, and that is Thunderwave.
Thunderwave. That, I mean, honestly, it sounds from your answer, it sounds like you might appreciate GCs, and yeah, I don't know.
Oh no, I'm not. Like,
oh, really?
This is definitely no. Like, I would say I was gonna look forward to this GC. We will get to it later in the stream, I guess, but not anymore. Is
okay. Yeah, the I don't know, the GCs. I think they're like maybe not underappreciated, but like I think they're overhated mainly. It's just a different form of Pokemon, and it's honestly the only remnant I have of the olden days when I got to play closed team sheet at tournaments. It is fun to, like, use this other half of Pokemon where you can pull off tricks and stuff like that. This is the only place to do it nowadays. You can get really creative with an EV spread, or haha, my Fluttermane was actually booster special attack when you thought it might be speed. But no, like, it is crazy to come up with something, some idea that baits your opponent into thinking they're fighting one thing and they're fighting something completely different. I don't know. I missed that part.
Yeah, not
Alex,
me
coming into
seeing the
this-
GC announcement and putting weakness policy Raging Bull in my builder.
Bruno, I want you to know that you're not getting me with that link. You have to change the URL. I know which one it is now. I'm not until the URL gets changed. I'm not clicking that one that ends in 054. I know this one. For people that don't know it, check out one of my ladder streams that I do during the week. Somebody did come in and said, "I have found the anti-meta solution, Alex," and they were like, "Do you want me to build it?" I was like, "Okay." Sure, and then that's what they posted for me. So really truly that's what the GC is all about, because I'm telling you, if you were fighting a Dragapult in the GC, I bet you didn't expect it to have baton pass and U-turn. You never would have thought that was coming. Anyways,
The
go ahead, Audie.
the awkward thing about this GC, and I think GCs in general, is that when you are obligated to go to 5 to 6 majors in a year, and the GCs overlap so much with these regionals, because 3 of us are going to Toronto. If you are playing in this GC, you can't. It's hard to prepare for Toronto regionals and also prepare a team for best of 1 in the GC, because they are
Right.
so fundamentally different formats. And so I think most of us are going to be using some variant of our Toronto teams if we're playing in it. And that's a little awkward, because it's hard to. I think it's really hard to do well when you are when you're preparing for best of 3. You're not really practicing best of 1. I think the best players. I guess the best players are just good at Pokemon, but at least my best finishes in the GCs have been when I built a team specifically for the GC. I'm not going to be doing that. I am just going to be using this as preparation for Toronto regionals.
And I don't know. I mean, it changes a little bit format to format, but we have seen so many strong finishes in these GCs this year from really standard tournament teams. So if you're going to Toronto and you're not finding any fun cheese strategy, don't sweat it. If you feel really good with your current team and you want some extra reps, load it up. You have a good chance of earning points. Don't sweat it. That said, next up we have a tournament upcoming this weekend, right? Adi, I think you said you were going to be casting this one. Are you on this page?
Yeah, so this is run by Spear Pillar. It's a charity tour that is for the Make a Wish Foundation. You can see all the people who are involved in doing this, and yeah, I'm gonna be one of the casters. There's 4 casters. I don't actually know who the other casters are, but it should be exciting. And yeah, I'd love it if you guys competed. I'd love it if you guys tuned in and watched. It's hopefully we can get some more signups, because it is for a really good cause.
That's super sick. Audie, I have a caster list. Oh, maybe you could pass that to Audie if you want Audie to say it on the show, or if you don't want Audie to say it on the show, then maybe don't pass it. But good to know. Or maybe you can pass it to Audie and tell him not to share it if it's not supposed to be public yet. Anyways, that said, yeah, why not play for a good cause? I don't know if there's any other grassroots going on this coming weekend anyway, so then why not make this the one? This is exciting. It's got a little bit of a prize pool as well. That's okay. So like is there I guess $5 donations. I see. Cool. Perfect. That's sick. It's super cool. Yeah. Definitely check that one out. Next up, we have yes, we were a little bit behind on this one, of course, but there was like Pokedata with the locals. I think Pokedata's local finder unfortunately doesn't work anymore because Pokemon.com is like blocking them or something like that. They're bot or something. Maybe you can explain it better than I can,
So-
Audie.
Yeah, so they have an API, which is what you use to basically get information from a website. But usually these APIs, they have a limited number of times that you can ping it. And so yeah, they're being limited to so in order to get these information, I assume they have to check every so often to see if there are new locals, as well as they have to check in a number of different locations to get all the locals that exist. I don't know exactly how this program works, but or how this API is set up. But yeah, this was the best way to find locals by far. It was just really functional, and the event locator in the past was not the best program, but now especially, is a lot worse. They have somehow made
Yes.
it significantly
They
worse.
did
It is
just
basically
continue to make it
unusable.
worse.
And yeah, so and it looks like they said it is working again, which is awesome. I'm glad that's been figured out, because
Right.
yeah, I will. This is what I've been using all of the season to find out when locals are.
Right.
And they were in the comments, they were proposing some different like technical solutions that might cost some money. And so I don't know what they ended up doing. But if there are any like software developers in the chat who wanted to contribute to a sustainable solution, I would definitely look through that tweet thread and see if there's something that you can help out with, because God, we need this so much. Like I don't know how to find locals without this.
The regular old local finder is so bad. My local finder is my good friend Rafa, who loves locals so much that he will go through the regular old Pokemon website and then put those into a real regular calendar so that we can better realize where our where and when our locals are. It's the event finder page is so bad. It's so sad. I'm hoping that they're working on it. But yeah, anyways, speaking of locals, there was also an update to pricing at locals. I think we're getting some slightly more video game centric pricing. I think it's these two lines here for VG League Cup pricing.
Mhm.
And it's the accessory bags and screen cleaners, I think. Is that what it was?
Yep. And so
So
there will be one accessory bag if you win your cup at your local. I believe every local who can host cups should get these. I don't know that. I did ask my local, and they did say that they would be getting these. And so yeah, like you should win a custom accessory bag. We'll see what it looks like if you win a cup at any point in starting from January, which should be pretty cool. It's a nice little prize. And there's also a screen cleaner that looks like they can kind of decide how they want to give those out as well. So
sure.
yeah, I'm excited for this. I think more pricing for locals is always good, especially when it comes from officially from Play Pokemon. It's not at the cost of locals, and it hopefully can get people, encourage people to show up. And also, I think that a lot of these times, these custom accessories, if they're nice, especially if they're not like, if they don't say like League Cup champion and instead they say, or if they don't say like League Cup on them and they said they have like a cool Pokemon on them, that might be worth something. Like it's nice to have a nice addition to the prize pool, given how exclusive Pokemon merch tends to be pretty valuable. So
Adi, did you not
yeah, I'm
read the
excited for
red
this.
text? The red text that says all pricing must be used as intended and may not be sold under any circumstances. Okay, I know
That
that
is
it's probably
for
talking
scores,
about.
not for
It's for
people.
the for the organizers. I know. Yeah, I gotta say before we move on from this one, I'll just say that like for the people that aren't actually super interested or excited about this, like that's honestly totally understandable because you're probably an adult. I think this is going to be really cool for the kids and stuff, and like ultimately growing the game and keeping players coming back if they go to a local, do well enough to get a cute little prize, and they're like, oh, that was fun, I'll go back. Like that's what the more exciting part about this is to me as somebody who doesn't need more little Pokemon knickknacks in my life, considering I've got all that, like a whole wall behind me of Pokemon stuff that doesn't need additions, and whatnot.
Yeah, well, I mean, and by that you mean for any kid that shows up, because they give out one per age division. I wonder what happens if they don't have, like, if there are no juniors that show up to the cups, because that's like not an unusual thing.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see.
Exactly. It's just like really hard to do prizing for video game, as people are mentioning in the Twitch chat. Like that's the tough part. Is like, I don't know. I mean, maybe they could start giving us like battle points, whatever you get in Pokemon Champions. If they could figure out a way to do that,
Victory
that
points.
would victory points. Is that what it is? Okay. Yes. Adi, the new resident champions expert, because he's been making all the YouTube videos on it. Hell yeah.
Yeah, I've got another one scripted. I've got it locked and loaded. I got to just record. Well,
Yes,
hoping
yes,
to
yes.
record it when I'm back home in my apartment, where the audio quality is a little better. But yeah.
Okay, I was actually talking to Nails about this on stream already, and Adi, I think I talked about it in a call that you were already in, but I'm going to bring it up on Tub Takes anyways because it's fun and I want to ask our guests their takes on it. For Pokemon Champions, we've seen. I wish I had the relevant links. Maybe Adi, if you don't mind, could you try to find me one of the images? But basically, I'm talking about PowerPoints, PP, if you want, for the moves. And in Pokemon Champions, we saw Dragapult going for Draco Meteor, and it had 5 power points in this battle. And we've also seen the screen where where people spend these victory points to upgrade and fill out their Pokemon stats wise, moves wise, and etc. And you spend some victory points when you check out. You can, EV them there. You can change their moves, their item. Actually, I don't know if there was anything about an item. And then their ability. But nowhere on that screen did it seem to interact with IVs. Audie had a whole video about that one. We're not here to talk about that right now. And nowhere did it seem to indicate anything about PP. So I was curious if VGC going forward on Champions did not PP max your moves, like if it was just not available, and Draco Meteor was 5 PP max. What do you guys think about that change competitively? Do you think it would be an interesting one, a bad one, a good one? Jeremy, why don't you start?
I think it could be cool because some ability like Pressure would have a real utility from now on, and like Astro Barrage and like Glacial Lance would be less broken, and like you could PP stall Extreme Speed from D-Knight in some end games. It would change the game quite a bit, and I think it would be cool. But yeah, I don't think there's gonna be PP ups in Champions, and also about IVs, I also think they're all gonna be maxed in Champions. But
Okay.
I think if you transfer them from home, if you have 0 IV attack mon in from like Pokemon Scarlet and you bring it to Champion, I don't think it's gonna put it at 31 IV. I think it's gonna be super annoying this way. But I'm not sure about it. It's gonna be like that.
That would be weird. I mean, we appreciate the theories for sure. Definitely, because I mean, right now we're, like I said, in such a dry spell with Champion news that we're all just kind of waiting, thinking, theorying. Anyways, Dorian, what do you think about the PP question though? About like if the low PP moves were not automatically PP maxed and stuff. I guess all moves, but it doesn't really affect things like Haze or
so
Rapid
one
Spin.
move which I was thinking about that caught my attention if like there's no PP maxes is Wide Guard, because with almost all like very powerful spread moves, especially from restricted Pokemon being like 5 power points now, like Astro Barrage, Glacial Lance as mentioned. Like Wide Guard seems like ridiculously scary because like every single time like Wide Guard happens, like especially during like a Trick Room, then all of a sudden you lost like all of your attacking potential, even if you regain speed control at some point.
Right.
Another side note, I guess we'll get into this in the future. One of my Victory Road sets that I played, my Hisuian Arcanine was locked into extreme speed in front of Photograph
Yes.
for 6 turns. And we'll get into that at some point, but basically, like, yeah, like I think I really do not like the fact that some priority moves cannot be customized in PowerPoints. I'm an avid enjoyer of 7 PowerPoint Thunderclap and Flecker Punch.
Right.
I think that not being able to customize that and making that locked is a little bit unfortunate. But other than that, I think I don't think it generally should matter too much, but for some moves, I think you definitely want to click more than 5 times for like a lot of very important moves. So I think it will like matter.
Yeah, it'll come up. It'll come up for sure. And one move that like I think everybody immediately thinks of the powerful signature attacks like Astral Barrage or Surging Strikes. But one that the singles players would not stop talking about after it was changed in the most recent generation, but I think we would start to feel it over here in VGC is like healing moves like Recover or Roost. Those I think in Gen 9 I think got hit with the PP nerf down to 8. They were like around like it was like a half because I think they like Recover used to be like 16 PP or whatever. And now Recover is just 8 PP. And so if you're Porygon 2, like 8 PP Recover comes up maybe 1 in like 200 games or something. I feel like it's a rare-ish circumstance, but it'll happen. But if it was 5 recovers on a Porygon 2, now keep in mind if you're like recover stalling a choice band Pokemon that's also locked into a low PP move, you won't need as many. But if you were like, recover stalling a Specs Chi-Yu that's clicking, Heat Wave and it's got enough Heat Waves to outlast you, you might be in a little bit of trouble there. So definitely would impact those moves pretty heavily.
Yeah, I'm looking at Twitch chat right now. Fight seems really scary.
Oh, Adi did.
That'd be your
No one's
move
clicking
for PowerPoint
Spite,
off
man.
of-
No one's clicking
I mean,
Spite.
I'm gonna start
yeah, we're
using
running
it. I'm gonna start
Fluttermane-
using it.
No,
Cats be running
Fluttermane
Gmax
used
Duraludon.
Fluttermane learns Spite, so you can just like kill Earth with a Rapid Strike, not use Surging Strikes ever again after it uses it once.
Okay.
Just throwing it out there.
Yeah, this
Oh
screen-
man. So I've got some stories and I've got some things I'm scared about. So one thing that I'm scared about is the Eternatus stall with pressure. I think that getting a buff is not great.
Right.
But and I remember actually the only time I've seen Spite being used with Flutterbane was on an Eternatus stall team. That was around on ladder at some point in Reg G or Reg I or something. But I do think that it's really good that these really powerful moves like Astral Barrage, and like Extreme Speed and like Make It Rain do have a downside, right? I think
Right.
these like there should be a trade-off to using really powerful moves, and Astral Barrage in particular and Glacial Lance are notorious for not having a downside. And so I think that it is probably pretty good that there is a downside to using these powerful moves. Maybe you rethink how you want to build your Pokemon, what the strengths and weaknesses of these Pokemon are, without directly nerfing these Pokemon. But you know, like PP now is actually a resource as compared to in the past where it kind of wasn't. The two stories I have, I've had PP come up twice in sets. The first is when I in 2022 I was running a Pressure Palkia with because I had an Amoonguss on the team and you want to be able to pollen puff yourself. And I won a set because I stalled a Calibric Shadow out of Astral Barrages. And so the pressure interaction with moves like Astral Barrage is definitely going to come up. I think that's very, very real.
yeah.
And I think that especially with Restricteds having pressure and Restricteds having low PP moves, I think that's where we're going to see it really come up. It was very funny because I remember that set they did have APP and I wasn't keeping track, and I was so shocked that that I won that game because I had a Dark type in front of with the 1 HP in front of the Calibric Shadow and I just won. The other time was at NAIC 2024 when I was running the Hard Trick Room team and I had forgotten to PP max my Glacial Lance, and I actually lost a game because I just ran out of Glacial Lances. And against a Koraidon team, which is supposed to be the freest matchup, because they stalled me out of the 5 Glacial Lances. And after that round, I won the set. After that round, I asked a judge, am I allowed to PP max my Pokemon in between rounds? And they said, and they had to go to the head judge, and they were like, yes, you could do that. That's okay. And so, yeah, 5 PP on Glacial Lance and on Astral Barrage definitely will come up. It is a real nerf to those Pokemon, and good. I like that. I think that's an excellent nerf to some of the most powerful Pokemon in the game.
The good thing
Can I
is
just
that we're
ask a
never going to
quick
see
question to you
Urshifu and
guys?
Calyrex again. They are never coming back to VGC. They're never going to be allowed in Pokemon Champions. What were you saying? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
I know. I was like, because I'm just saying this because this came up for me exactly one time. Most Pokemon have pressure as their primary ability if they have pressure in the first place. I believe there's exactly one Pokemon or one Pokemon evolution line that has pressure as a hidden ability. I don't know
Okay.
if you guys know.
This is a good trivia question. I'm trying to think, and I have a guess. Is it Sneasler?
There might be two. I actually forgot about Sneasler. I think you're correct. I think you're correct about Sneasler. And actually, no. Sneasler's hidden ability is Poison Touch. Right.
Okay. Is pressure one of
Pressure is
Sneasler's
pressure
abilities,
is a
though?
primary ability. That's
Okay.
sorry.
Nothing.
Is it-
we're good.
Is it Weavile? Or is that the primary ability there too?
Primary.
Primary.
Yeah, there's exactly one. I just double checked it. There's exactly one evolution line.
And you said it's hidden, not even like secondary?
Hidden ability. So not secondary, not
Hmm.
primary. Hidden.
That's a good tricky one.
Because I only Pokemon I think of are like Dusclops and the legendaries, but the legendaries and Dusclops are all primaries.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, a hint is I ran into this while playing Golden Go.
Is it one of the hidden? No, it's not King Gambit's hidden, right?
It is actually King Gambit's hidden. Yes, King Gambit.
Oh my god!
Yes, King Gambit gets Supreme Overlord and Defiant at its first 2 abilities, so no one ever thinks of Pressure as its third one, and it came up for me. I realized, and it was like a very low ladder close team sheet game for like one set where I had a Golden Go, and I almost swept through their entire team, but King Gambit showed up with Pressure, and then I realized I actually couldn't kill in 2 Maker Raids. I still won game because I had Shadow Ball, but it was a little bit weird. I can't say it. Like,
Oh my
pressure
god.
did something there.
That's awesome. And if this does end up coming to be, it's gonna do even more than something. If you take a single, 5 PP move and eat 2 of them, they can only click it. They can't even click it again into you. And yeah, it's just crazy to think. Everyone's gonna have to really make sure they're brushed up on their pressure mechanics because it does some weird stuff. Ooh, 5 PP on Trick Room. Encore plays differently because you can break out of encores faster if you have low PP on the moves, kind of.
Well, if that was a concern, you could always do that.
Why is there 100 VP for Psychic? Maybe paying for PP?
If you
No,
watch
I
the
think
No, if you watch the trailer, it's because they changed a move to Psychic, and that's what they're doing.
yeah, that sounds right. Yeah.
That's
I just
unpredictable.
it would be on this screen unless like for some reason it's in this. I'm now noticing this quick menu in the bottom corner. I don't know why it would be in the quick menu of it, but sure, maybe. Again, we're
weird
doing a lot of
because
stupid theory.
And like you said, in all the trailers where they were actually battling and you could see the moves, none of them had PP maxed. And this is the trailers were pretty competitively accurate. You could see a pretty reasonable EV spread and moveset for your Gardevoir, right? Stuff like that. And so
Yeah.
that's why, I mentioned in my video that came out a couple days ago that I thought that IVs are gone because if this is so competitively accurate and it's not on the screen and they never publicized it, it'd be kind of weird to have it be changeable and just not have it accurate in the game. Maybe they're still working on that part of the game. I don't know. But yeah, I would bet on because again, if you think about it in terms of like if you are a player playing the game and you have a limited number of VP and you already have to customize all your Pokemon, do you want to spend your currency on maxing out your PP every single time you have to train a new Pokemon? Or does that feel like you are kind of being scammed out of your points? Same with maxing out your IVs for every Pokemon. And so I think it is a really bad experience for a player who's maybe just getting into Pokemon, just picking up this mobile game and finding out, I gotta max out all these things that otherwise I just always gotta max them out and I always gotta play currency. Feels like you're being scammed out of your currency. So I get why.
I kind of get what you're saying.
why it's not
Basically,
there.
like if the option to have them PP'd up at all, it would be more likely to be set to max, like Pokemon Showdown does it, where if
Right.
we're removing PP ups from the equation, and they wanted you to have max on, or if I don't know if they wanted you to be able to PP up them, but they wanted to remove them from the equation, the option to have them set to max is there, and they have them set to min. So it seems like it's probably being taken out, which is kind of wild, kind of crazy to think.
Mhm.
Okay, we gotta actually get to talking about the results of these tournaments upcoming. So I think there was one more minor thing before we move on, and that was just Santiago. I actually don't remember if we got clarification on this one, and I don't know if anybody in the chat here is going to this tournament. So the only reason I'm curious is that I think TCG had like a visual error when it came to this tournament on like how many people were actually registered, and it got capped. But people were pretty upset to see that this one capped at 71 total. That's like not even a tournament at that point. So kind of ridiculous. I wonder if that was a bug. But yeah. I if anybody has more info, let me know. Otherwise, I'm gonna keep us moving. So that's a limit of this tournament. Yeah, pretty much. That's what I'm saying. It's so small. It's just so sad. But like the problem is that it's not 71 by choice, man. The 36 man regionals that we had in the Ultra Series days, those are long gone. People want to go to tournaments, and I don't think that we would see it be that small. It's crazy, especially being capped that small.
It really is stunting the growth of Pokemon in Latin America when they are like they're doing a great job. Otherwise, they're doing a good job of EUIC. We all thought would cap immediately, and it did, but it's also 50% larger than the last EUIC that also capped immediately. So they are making an effort,
Yes.
in the rest of the world to accommodate the increased demand for tournaments, for these tournaments, but not the organizers in South America apparently. In Mexico, right? I'm going to Merida. It's at 270 something, which is a pretty reasonable size. It also capped, but like there's no reason that Santiago couldn't also easily hit 200 players.
Yeah, yeah. At least cross into the triple digits, of course. So, all right, let's talk about the results of these 3 Victory Road tournaments, um, and dive into some teams and stuff. So, we've been seeing, I mean, what RegF officially started December 1st, right? That's when it came back. We could have it at
Yep.
locals, but of course no majors, as I said at the beginning. So this is where the meta of development is largely happening, and also on Pokemon Showdown, and also in Limitless tournaments to an extent. But the Victory Road tournaments are a major metagame driver, and we had 3 of them in 3 consecutive weekends, right? In December. So I mean, honestly, shout outs to them for putting all these on, getting 200-ish players each time. 220. Was this like 280? No, 212. This one was 280. 280. Okay. Yeah. So some very very sizable tournaments online, and yeah, I mean, good pricing at the end of it all. I mean, Naoto won 760 for winning this first one, and honestly, this is one of the stranger teams. I have not seen. We are now over 2 weeks, or about 2 weeks off of when this one occurred. This one didn't seem to have a very lasting appearance. This team, I'm not seeing it a ton now, but when this won, it was kind of just like, you can do that. You can run the Golden Go Drago stuff as a balanced team instead of like hyper offense oriented like we're so used to. I think it's probably close here. Yeah. Oh, there's no Golden Go here. Oh yeah, I'm mixing it up with something else. But yeah, Drago is normally just on these very aggressive teams. And if you asked me like 2 weeks ago when we were looking at this stuff, it felt like Drago was sort of running the format. It felt like everybody was giving this Pokemon a try. Everybody was looking at this thing or trying out teams featuring it. And yeah, it's definitely fallen a lot to the wayside as we go through these tournaments. But yeah, I don't know. What did you guys end up seeing other people try out this team much at all, or do you think it faded pretty fast?
I did try it like 20 games, but then like I faced like teams with a Fairy type plus Terra Fairy Raging Bolt 10 games in a row, and I just rage quit because
The Reggie Drago experience. The Reggie Drago experience. It's not for everybody.
Yeah, so there is one thing that made me realize that, like, I saw this team like at first, and then because this was this was around like right after, I think, the Battle in Wonderworld tour,
Sure. Yes.
if I'm not mistaken. And then in that tournament, I ran Sans Orlando. So the first thing that I saw when I saw this team is, how does this team ever survive Sans Orlando? I just don't think it does.
Uh-huh.
It just looks like Sans Orlando board wipes this entire team. I mean, there is Flying Terror on Golingo, but I also had a Raging Bolt on my team as well. So
Sure.
like this didn't. I saw this team, and I just thought that this team was a little bit underpowered because doesn't have any particularly good speed control. Is
No.
always trying to move second, and like you have Pokemon that really don't want to move second. Generally, like Reggie Drago in particular really wants to move first, but you got like no support for it. So always found this team to be a little bit interesting.
That's the thing, is I feel like we have nothing but bad things to say about this team, and it won this whole tournament. That's the part that just like kind of amazes me. Naoto, a very talented player, so could absolutely have been skill diffing along the way, but you can't beat every single person that you beat along the way by just being a better player. You have to have a team that's functional and strong, and it's just crazy to me that this was able to go the distance here. Just, I guess, showing that I don't know. My favorite innovation from it was Mental Herb Amoonguss. It's not like, brand new, but I don't think a lot of people were trying it. I don't know if a lot of people are still trying it, but that does feel like the 2 things that people use to beat Amoonguss are either Taunt or Ogerpon, and running Mental Herb and Sludge Bomb just says, like, all right, you're going to have a little bit of a miserable time if you try to rely on either. So, yeah, seems like a very annoying set to deal with.
I wish that we got to watch these matches because you mentioned Terra Fairy Bolt plus Fluttermane, and Naoto actually beat Tia Team, the French player, on Terra Fairy Bolt plus Fluttermane in top 8. So it does apparently have a way to beat this, but I agree. It does seem like moving second every time is very difficult. Fluttermane is just a problem for Regidrago teams. It really limits your ability, like what Pokemon you can bring. But I never personally tried this team out, but I've tried the other versions of both Goldengo Balance and Regidrago stuff, and yeah, it's just so hard to. I don't know. I don't get it, but now it's just the goat, man. I don't know what to say.
Right, right. Next up, though, this is funny because this is a Dozo team, and I don't know, people are always eating up Dozo teams like candy because there's just too many Dozo players out there. But this one, another one that I don't think really stuck around. It's got double Icy Wind, funnily enough, Icy Wind on the POW and on the Flutter, and then has Entei and Bolt. It's like if you took me and Chuppa's teams from the Portland final and combined them somehow, which is disgusting. Why would you do that? Don't put Dozo stuff on a team that looks like something I would use. But yeah, the otherwise, I mean, I think we're gonna get down later where it seems like the Dozo players have found their new disgusting team. I think all Dozo teams are disgusting, but this new one seems especially disgusting. It had a pretty big presence in World Cup, I believe, and yeah, it's like a snow Glamora one. Just in case we don't happen to see it. But yeah, I think it should show up in one of these later tournaments. And so yeah, this one, another one that isn't really sticking around. I have not seen it once out there, but
Well, at
go
the
ahead.
VR, the second VR I won, one of the two opponents who beat me was this guy who was using this team. And like,
So the same person?
yeah. And the cover cloak Oblivious Dozo just spamming Rock Slide all the time was very strong against Balance.
I'm glad you pointed it out because I actually missed the Rock Slide, and I kind of understand it. I mean, you're going to play against Rillaboom in almost half your games, so might as well have a spread move that does something. Let me see what Rillaboom's actually at these days. It's not
there's a point that there's another point that I would like to point out for that Dondozo set. Like some people call Dondozo the big fish. I always call it the matchup fish. And
yes,
this Dondozo is like the most matchup fish I've ever seen. Like you got Oblivious cover cloak. Like you're the anti fake out Dozo, and you will refuse to play against anything else.
Yeah, I love that though. Maybe that's just what the metagame needs to combat all these like double fake out teams. Am I gonna resort to this? No, but I bet some people might.
This is the type of team that I would bring to a like an NPA set or a World Cup set because, like you said, yeah, it is a matchup fish, and I say there's like you can beat any individual team with Dozo. Like every team loses to a Dozo variant, and if you hit the right Dozo, like if you hit the right matchups, you can definitely do very well. But I like the idea. It's saying that you can kind of priority spam with POW, Bolt, Entei, and Fluttermane, fast Fluttermane through basically everything that's not the double fake out cycling stuff, and then you just you Dozo through those guys, and it kind of makes sense. I also think it's funny because Alex is actually your Portland team, except they replaced the water type and they replaced the dragon type with a different water type and dragon.
Shut up! Yeah, Marcus.
How you can beat every team if you try hard enough.
We didn't mention who was doing it, but Marcus Coe is a dedicated Dozo player. It's all they know. They live and breathe fine dining and Don Dozo or whatever. Darts, I think, just running Luca Cherabelli's EUIC team. It seems to be having a decent run on this Reg F run back. I think that's nothing new. If I clicked on every single one of these teams, we would be here forever. Don't worry, Jeremy. We'll get back to yours in the next tournament. And oh yeah, the Smeargle stuff. This one's still sticking around. Basically, like it feels like a continuation of the Kinagawa team from Regulation I. Not Regulation like H or anything like that, but Regulation I, where you would use Smeargle to decorate a Sharpbeak Tornadus. And that Tornadus, if it doesn't miss, it's gonna really hurt your team. So yeah, that on top of the fact that you can decorate Bolt. Yeah, I mean, any Pokemon, of course, in the metagame is going to appreciate a decorate, but yeah, you have like the double choiced Pokemon here. You're just going to run things over. It's so aggressive.
Yeah, one thing that I would know about this particular team is there is a team which I've been calling the casino team, which is the Chiyu, Flutter, Glamora, Urshifu
Right.
Dark, Wellspring team, and then this team is more casino than that one.
Yeah, somehow,
you're like
somehow.
genuinely Moody Boost, Bleakwind, Sandseer, Heatwave, like oh my gosh.
Oh, did they have Sandseer too? That one might have snuck past me. It is
Yeah, I know,
Sandseer.
it's
Of
like
course, it's
Sandseer.
Sandseer. Why else? Why wouldn't it be Sandseer? And the Torn doesn't even have Rain Dance. It's like, we could make these moves accurate, but why would we bother when we could just high roll? Yeah, there's the Side Spam Drago team. This one, I think we'll see a decent lack of it later down the line, but like this one at this point in the metagame, I feel like was very, very common. 2 weeks ago, at this point in the metagame, it's just funny to say. I was just telling Audie and DMs that rain is not real, so you shouldn't worry about it. But this is 2 weeks ago, and so this is also just completely irrelevant. None of these teams are going to stick around, of course, but I don't know. Let me ask you guys though: have you guys been fighting any Pelipers? I never see Pelipper.
At Charlotte, like back in 2024, I did use Rain, but back then it wasn't Raging Bolt wasn't on like 70% of teams, so like. But no, I wouldn't recommend using this because both Pelipper and Urshifu are terrible against Raging Bolt.
Yeah. Raging Bolt's so annoying for teams like this. Even if you have like Draco Meteor and Ice Spinner and Moonblast, like that Raging Bolt's gonna find a way. It's gonna find a way to be annoying for you. 100%. But otherwise, pretty cool.
You got to click on Tiago's team. I think the team is kind of crazy.
It is a little crazy.
Max always has some crazy stuff, but that Cresselia set is absolutely wild.
It does bother me every time. It boggles the mind that it's Terra Ghost on this when it's like, you don't get rid of like 2 of your weaknesses. You're still weak to Ghost and still weak to Dark. Wow! But like, I kind of understand it. It might be like an anti-fake out team where like the Surging Strike's going to be miserable into you because of Rocky Helmet. You're going to be able to dodge the fake outs by having Ghost instead of like, I don't know, a Covert Cloak or something. And maybe you're just not using this to beat anything that can click those super effective attacks, like Dark or Shifu. You're not trying to beat its counters with this set. You're more so just like, it's a matchup duck. It's a matchup duck, and it's trying to catch very specific matchups.
Yeah, this Crusader looks like it beats Bolt Balance because you can Calm Mind up, and then even if they Calm Mind up to max, you can store power them.
Yeah. Yes. That is pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, I guess saying it that way, and it also beats the P2 Ursa stuff pretty consistently. Because like, what is that going to do into you?
Oh, you do full wall gut. I didn't think about the guts bear. You do
Right,
full wall guts bear.
Full wall Hisui bear. Yeah.
Yep. So I mean, maybe you just, again, like I said earlier, like it is. I think that the offensive teams in the format are very beatable if you are committed, like if you find the right core to beat them individually, and then it's the balancing stuff that is tougher. And everyone's looking, at least I'm looking for the silver bullet into all the balancing stuff. How do you consistently beat it, regardless of what variant it is? And so if you do find a Pokemon like maybe this Cresselia, that beats the 2 different versions of balance that kind of exist, then you can dedicate the rest of your team to beating all of the other stuff in the format, all of the more offensive stuff in the format. And I don't know, I can kind of see where he's going with it.
Right. Yeah, that is kind of cool. I support it. Don't support the next one. In fact, I'm not even going to click it. So yeah, I think we probably don't need to go. Well, I'll see if there's anything worth clicking down here, but I'm not going to go into. Oh, that is an Empoleon. Why is there an Empoleon? Yawn.
I saw this on ladder.
So it's Yawn with Wellspring Stabs, and sure, yeah. I mean,
you get, who needs an Urshifu on the boring balance team when you can run an Empoleon instead?
You can't even like fake out and hit them through Protect, but you can.
The main reason I think this Empoleon is on here is you have something like, I know a lot of these balance teams had like trouble with like instant flutter board when the flutters are like when the instants are all switching to Landorus and the flutters are all getting or spamming IT1 and then Landorus wipes your board. And then Empoleon just being like completely kills instant flutter because you're competitive, and then you also resist fairy, and then you kill them with Hydro Pump. I'm assuming that's the idea here, just to beat them.
I was about to suggest that it could be Covert Cloak to help further break those boards. But I've had this before. I've seen this issue before where if you run Covert Cloak and you get Icy Winded, you don't get a competitive boost. Your speed doesn't go down, so there's nothing to go up. So I guess, yeah, Leftovers works a little bit better there. Anyways, okay, yeah. I don't know. This one we probably saw elsewhere. I think maybe it was in the Balan Tour that Elizabeth did well, but Elizabeth's team is still definitely feeling quite strong in the metagame. I feel like a lot of people are still looking at stuff like this Clear Amulet Tinglu. Very cool guy right now. Let's move on to the next one then. So, Jeremy, it's time. Let's go ahead and dive into... I won't say it's the most boring 6 Pokemon out there, because guess what? There's like 8 variations that have 5 out of 6 of the same Pokemon in one swap or whatever. But yeah, so there's more choices on this than meets the eye. I think a lot of people tend to look at these balanced teams and then their eyes just gloss over, and I kind of get it. But every single Pokemon has choices, at the very least, that I'm seeing here. And without diving into like a full team report length type of analysis, why don't you tell us a little bit about how you landed on this 6 and some of the choices, some of the major choices?
Yeah, so basically, in Regulation F, the problem with I feel like the problem with balance is usually like it's hard to be consistent because there's lots of interaction, like Raging Bolt, Urshifu, Chien-Pao, that plays a lot of 50-50s all the time, especially Calm Mind Raging Bolt. Like, it's you gotta click Thunderclap, or Urshifu, you gotta lead the faster fake out with Urshifu, click Surging Strike, make the right call, or like Chien-Pao, you're top of the speed tier and you have your priority. So I tried to put the most consistent piece in the team, to try to have to make the less calls as possible, and like Ogerpon is pretty consistent because like against Giraffe there's less 50-50s because I have Grassy Glide, Mold Breaker. Raging Bolt is not Calm Mind because so I can make consistent plays on with Thunderbolt, and also my Rillaboom like is I'm not gonna say the spreads, but like lots of Japanese players use my team in the next GC, and when the spread
Next
leaks,
VR, you mean?
What?
Next VR, yeah. You go.
Oh yeah, VR3. And when I saw the spread which leaked, I saw the Clear Amulet Rillabooms weren't fast. Mine is really fast and really strong because it's for the Icy Wind. It's for the Flutter Icy Wind endgame fights where my Rilla, since it's Clear Amulet, I beat like Lando Flutter in the, or like Lando, Shifu plus Flutter, Lando plus Flutter, Ogerpon plus Flutter, and in end games with Rilla and my Flutter. So like yeah, that's why, and also of course because of Intimidate, but it's that's why I'm using a Clear Amulet Rillaboom, and yes, so and I don't want to use Thunder Wave, so I use Dazzling Gleam on Flutter. So yeah, overall, I tried to minimize as much as possible acts on this team and having to make 50-50s all the time.
No, I definitely respect that. You were a balanced player in Regulation H as well, right? You were also playing a lot of the Instant Rilla stuff there. So did this feel like a somewhat natural transition?
Yeah, but like in Reg H, I was using the Lele team and the Volt Balance team, but like in Reg H balance, you could make way more consistent play. Like you just recycle your fake out, set up your mon, click your spread move when you're set up, and win end games with Yawn Blood Moon. But in this in Reg F, you gotta make calls all the time. So like I wouldn't recommend playing balance. Like it's easy to say if you use balance in Reggae if you're gonna dominate, but like you gotta be insane the day of the tournament because you'll have to make calls.
All right, there you go, Audie. There's your quote for the thumbnail. I wouldn't recommend playing balance with Jeremy's face. Boom.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yes. Yeah, I think the tricky part is you have to deal with Urshifu because you can't really just like protect whatever that key piece is and switch to your other fake out. That is actually the part that like you almost like we talked about eyes glazing over. My mind is almost filling in the blank and putting an Urshifu on this team. It actually takes me a second to realize that you don't have one. I'm
Yeah.
curious why didn't Urshifu make the cut?
Because there's like way more 50-50s to make like the thunderclap interaction in front of Urshifu and like the like you can just lose your Urshifu on the spot, and I don't like this. And there's so many people who just click close combat in front of a Raging Bolt, saying like, oh, they're not gonna thunderclap, but like I won so many match in VR because I just made the right call all the time. And like against Shoei Kimura in round 10, I just Grassy Light Thunderclap is Shifu turn 1, and he lost it. So,
just hit the water type with the moves that are super effective. How genius. Truly.
yeah.
Nobody can do it like Jeremy here. Yeah, the one thing I want to say before we move on from this one is that I have to agree very much about the clear amulet call here, and I think the stocks on this item and Covert Cloak similarly are going to continue to go up after looking at what the next tournament shaped up to be. The Icy Wind Flutter wars are everywhere, and just having a Pokemon that is immune to that can be so nice. I was trying out Elizabeth's team from this tournament that we'll get to, and it has a Covert Cloak on the Walking Wake, and it's just really cool not just to be immune to the fake outs, but also to be immune to those Icy Winds and how people expect to be able to make those 2-tap plays, those double ups where you Icy Wind something and your Urshifu wipes something off the board. You Icy Wind and Earth Power away a Pokemon that Landorus shouldn't be beating, and instead your speed stays static. You beat and you just beat whatever it is you need to beat consistently. Clear Amulet, definitely the better choice for physical attackers, especially if they are Intimidate susceptible. But you can run Covert Cloak on the special ones and get that extra added fake out benefit, fake out immunity benefit, because yeah, you don't really need to. You still dodge Icy Wind, you still dodge Snarl, so that's plenty cool. But yeah, what Pokemon to do it with? That's up to you. If the answer is like Iron Boulder or Landorus or Arcanine, Hisui, or Walking Wake, I don't know. There's a lot of ways you can take it. All right, Dorian, let's dive into your team. So, honestly, at the start, at a glance, it looks a lot like the balanced Flutter teams that we're used to seeing. I think I saw an exact copy of it over here, I swear. Just the ones that use Dark Ursh plus like Incin. Oh, it was actually I've lost it. Somebody had it though.
We'll see it a lot
anyways.
more in VR3 for sure.
Yes, that's true. But yeah, basically what I'm trying to say is a lot of people, they usually, the fighting and dark type here kind of combine into one, and they usually have like a dark Urshifu, and then, what is that last? Landorus. A lot of people have Landorus on this kind of composition, paired with the Wellspring, the AV Bolt, the Booster Speed Flutter, and then Incin or Chiyu or Arcanine or Entei or something in this slot. So it's a couple of notes different. You definitely customize it to be your own. How did you end up coming to these 6 Pokemon?
So yeah, like this is kind of like we need to go on a deep dive here because for starters, whoever thought that this team is very similar to the Casti Balance team is completely wrong. And It honestly
Sure.
really sucks because MD for some reason decided to recreate my team. Maybe it looked too cool with the extra two flex spots. But not gonna say what my spreads are, but he completely botched most of the spreads. And the problem with that is he just made the team essentially the casty team with the two flexmons, but on the casty team, these two flexmons, like the Sneasel and Galarian Moltres, aren't good on that team. In fact, they're only good on this of the team that I have. Most critically, I think this is not a surprise to anyone who's been paying attention to VGC in the past week, but Thunderwave Fluttermane is now everyone's #1 enemy.
Mhm.
This Pokemon, especially the bold spread that like everyone knows, I ran bold Flutter. I think everyone else who is running this team is like running something similar to this team is also running bold Fluttermane. This is not a surprise. Bold Fluttermane hits a certain amount of bulk that lives a lot of moves. Most notably, the calcs are that it lives Raw, Rillaboom, Woodhammer. It lives Terra Water, Ogerpon, Wellspring, Ivy Cudgel, and likewise Terra Fire, Ogerpon, Hearthflame, Ivy Cudgel after Intimidate. And this Fluttermane, um, this Fluttermane was a starting point. So it wasn't like I did not start off with the core of Fluttermane, Arc, Wellspring, Raging Bolt. That was actually that was not added onto the team like in that order at all, by the way. So I guess this could be a time to introduce like this Flutter main, which all my friends aptly have called Dorian main because I think I'm basically the first person to use this in this regulation. I did create this core team concept that everyone is now on, which is a little bit annoying because they're all speed grouping each other now. But
That's how it's gonna be.
yeah, the main issue is this Flutter main. The lore behind this is I ran this on Reg I, where I ran this a very early ladder on Reg I Showdown on the Terrapagos team, and then I hit top 10, almost top 5 best of 3 ladder in Reg I, essentially using a Reg G team because I was running the Terrapagos CSR team with the Thunderwave Flutter main, and I never brought the CSR. Like the CSR was benched. The only matchup CSR ever came into was actually into opposing Terrapagos, which would be the last matchup you'd ever expect CSR to play into opposing Terrapagos. But the idea was you can Encore disable the opposing Terrapagos so that way your Terrapagos wins. And otherwise, the early meta teams absolutely nothing to beat but Thunderwave Flutter plus Terrapagos. It was really hilarious. Everyone was trying all like these other different builds. Like there were so many. I remember Miraidon Ice Rider, Iron Hands Fergraph teams like on the earliest Reg I ladder, which had 0 matchup into Thunderwave Fluttermane plus Terrapagos. And I ran bold Fluttermane with Thunderwave back then. That's where I found this spread. And then after, obviously, we went to Reg Fluttermane was not available, and then I was running Goldengo again, and then I was in a happy spot. And then when Regath came back, I kind of just decided to try this exact same Fluttermane spread. Like I started like this Fluttermane wasn't. I realized Bold was really good on Thunderwave Fluttermane. The Fluttermane just started off as Bold. That is the story behind it. It's like I started off with max bulk Thunderwave Fluttermane, and I realized that it actually hit a lot of important calcs in this metagame. And then at some point, originally I was trying to run this on a Volcarona balance team. So I had like Fluttermane with Thunderwave and an instant Rillo Volcarona. And then it would be a very annoying team where I just try to drag the game as long as possible with Fake Out and Volcarona and setting up quiver dances and stuff while Thunderwave was bleeding my opponent's turns because as the games go longer, this is kind of the same idea as Terrapagos. Like as the games go longer, there is actually more odds for pairs to happen and you get more turns. And at some point, Volcarona just becomes an unstoppable force. So that's kind of the idea here. And then again, I built this team. So like the second piece of this team was the Moltres. And one of the main things that I thought about using Moltres is originally because I had Incineroar as the Intimidate Pokemon, I was like, okay, but Thunderwave would be paired so well with Flinch. And Fire Wrath is just a broken move. It's Hyper Voice, but a better offensive typing and just better in general in every single way. Like Fire Wrath is
And
a
it's got a
really good
secondary
move.
effect. Oh.
Moltres, unfortunately, not the best user of an offensive move. Like its bulk and typing looks a lot better defensively. But Moltres was on the team very, and then it was also really good. One of the main selling points of Moltres right now for me was I believe this core that people are using doesn't really have a good crown matchup. Like Iron Crown's a little bit tricky, especially when Fluttermane has no protect. It just gets blasted by Tachyon. But Moltres with especially Choice Spec Snarl just makes Crown feel like nearly unplayable to this team because all the relevant attackers on Iron Crown that threaten the rest of your team are all the special attackers like Crown Regidrago and Tornadus. And Snarl just completely destroys them. I really like Snarl on this Galarian Moltres. My Balantor team had Landorus over to Sneasler and Citrus Moltres. And that team performed really well. I only got knocked out because I got axed. But for the record, like this team, the reason why I was the reason why I got to this point in the first place is this had never had Urshifu Dark. I do not agree with Urshifu Dark on this team. I know that the Italian building group like Federico Camporese and Marco Silva are both running Urshifu Dark alongside basically the exact same sets that I have. I do not agree with it. I think Urshifu Dark just not a good user of Thunderwave. Like I think it's much better fit on like the Casty team when the Flare still had Protect. But Thunderwave is now becoming a more necessary tech because just like you mentioned before, there's more Pokemon running Clear Amulet and Covert Cloak. And if you want to still have speed control on those mons, you can't just run Icy Wind. You need to run Thunderwave. And
So, Adi, I think instead the thumbnail is now going to have to be "Don't use Urshifu" and a picture of both of them. That is what I'm learning. Is that they
No,
they
like,
just don't think
yeah.
Urshifu is very good. Just don't even bother with that Pokemon.
I mean, I had Urshifu Dark was on my like one of the main things on my radar was this team with the first 5 Pokemon, which were Flutter, Hazoon, Arcanine, Raging Bolt, Ogerpon, Wellspring, Galarian Moltres. They had been locked in my builder for quite some time. I had Landorus as the 6th. I didn't really find Landorus that good, but one Pokemon that Landorus was good into was Urshifu Dark. And one thing that I had to figure out was what is another Pokemon good into Urshifu Dark? And turns
Okie
out
dokie.
I couldn't find another I couldn't find another fairy type that resisted both of Urshifu stabs, but there is another guy that resists both of Urshifu stabs, which also happens
Okie
to beat
dokie.
opposing faster Icy Wind Flutter. No, it's not Okidogi. It's Okidogi's
Scarf
cousin,
Okie
Sneasler.
dokie. Oh, never
So,
mind. It's Sneasler.
Sneasler. Whoa. Yeah, and Sneasler, by the way, lives wicked like despite having like no physical bulk whatsoever, does live wicked low plus sucker punch. And with fake out, it is a very good utility mon next to at first doesn't look like an HO team, looks like a balance team, but it definitely has the choice band and the choice specs on it. Like there is going to be a lot of damage output from this team. And Sneasler with White Herb is amazing at countering opposing Speed Booster Fluttermane, which is also why I made the choice to run Gunk Shot. And I have seen some people talking about my team, and then they see my Sneasler, and they're like, why is Sneasler not running Dire Claw? Dire Claw doesn't kill Fluttermane. I don't know who's ever thought Dire Claw killed Fluttermane. Gunk Shot kills Fluttermane. So if you want this Sneasler to beat Speed Booster Fluttermane, and by beating Speed Booster Fluttermane, I mean if they Icy Wind you, instead of dropping speed, you double your speed instead. That is definitely a really strong way of beating an Icy Wind Fluttermane. So now because MDB kind of made his own spreads and caused this mirror to be absolute hell because right now like every single version of this team I'm playing on ladder is definitely dropping the Sneasler and Moltres because they don't understand what they did, and now they're like going max speed Fluttermane and Hisuian Arcanine and trying to creep each other. Hisuian Arcanine, by the way, definitely one of the worst Pokemon to be a slower Hisuian Arcanine in the mirror because Rock Slide is very scary. And but overall, the reason why I think like how this team came in the first place and why I think a lot of people are not doing a good job recreating it is because the starting point and the philosophy of the team never revolved around hacks, never revolved around the Casty team balance core. I think one of the main things that people kind of focus on is they look at Fluttermane, Hisuian Arcanine, Wellspring, Raging Bolt, and they're like, oh, okay, I just copied a meta team, then I added my favorite mons onto it. That is definitely not how I got to this team. I built this team by myself, one by one. All the spreads are different. The roles are different. I have lines into most meta teams that revolve around the important 2 pieces on the team that do not revolve around hacks. Although there was one line which there was one like I played against Chris Elliott Ursulina player where they definitely could not play the game because Moltres, especially with choice specs, very good when it moves first, especially if you consider Fire Wrath and then choice specs and then the Crest Ursa teams normally not having a dark resist unless they Terra. But if they Terra, they're usually weak to something, whether it's Gunk Shot on Sneasler or close
I
combat.
think if you Terra,
or,
you're always weak to something, usually. Unless Electros. If you Electros Terra Electrics, it should have no weaknesses still.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, oh yeah. Speaking, this team definitely had an Exegrill at some point, so it actually did have a weakness.
Oh, Extra Drill at some point? Okay.
It definitely had a solo drill at some point for bolt balance. Although, yeah, that's kind of just like a side note. I
Joe's
think
been
the
using that
main-
as well. I don't know if that's in this tournament. I guess maybe we'll see. The Extra Drill, that is.
I mean, yeah, like the core idea behind this team is you're not relying on hacks. I see, especially with so I guess one thing which I can say about my team is everyone who sees my team immediately assumes that Hisuian Arcanine is Jolly Max specifically. Mine isn't, and I really, really hate the fact that everyone is going Jolly Heart because it makes the mirror borderline unplayable. I really think Adamant Hisuian Arcanine is much better, and I never had built this team with Jolly Hark in mind because Adamant Arcanine allows you to build lines with the team. Jolly Hark allows you to gamble, and I do not like gambling. As much as you see the T-Wave Rockslide Fire Wrath on this team, this is not a team that gambles. This is a team that play very consistently.
Jeremy was the one that said that he doesn't like to gamble. He doesn't want to play any of those games. This team has Thunderwave, Fiery Wrath, Rockslide, Sneasler. You're not going to convince me it's not a gambler's team.
Sure.
I'm gonna say this though. I think this team is one of the more consistent team because you're not playing 50-50s. You just put your Thunder Waves, then spam the spread moves. It's a very consistent gameplay. So like, but yeah, you have the flinch.
I'd rather play Rocks. I'd rather play Rockslide 90-10s than Urshifu 50-50s.
Yeah, exactly.
Although, yeah, my set versus Jeremy in finals definitely came down to me missing a Rockslide and 2 Gunk Shots. But we don't have to talk about that.
Yeah, in finals.
In
finals, Sneasler game 1 just got fake out, then fake out Moonblast, Grassy Light did nothing, and game 2 it missed 2 Gunk Shot on 2 Flutter and did nothing. So.
Oh no!
Yeah. Not a great showing for my Sneasler. I will say during the entire tournament run, I got lucky. Not entirely lucky in terms of hacks. I think I didn't get too much hack, but I got really lucky in the sense that I did not miss a single Thunder Wave in my tournament run, and I almost never missed a Rock Slide until like near the very end, where I missed consecutive Rock Slides. Yeah, but I never got any hacks. Like no hacks, almost no flinches, almost no full paras. But I
is the new
I didn't miss
team.
moves.
The new casino team. Okay.
I mean, especially if you're running Jolly Hisuian Arcanine. If you run Jolly Hisuian Arcanine, a key calc that people are losing is you can't kill the Cresselia with Adamant Head Smash plus something else. So you are gambling against Cresselia Ursaluna teams from now on.
You gotta hit the Head Smash in the first place. That's the first step. Adi, what were you trying to say?
That's true, but like you don't have a consistent line anymore.
I get you.
In terms of beating like teams like your line is rock sliding, and I don't like that. Like you're going first to rock slide, but you also don't do enough damage, and you have to hit all your rock slides, and you have to do multiple times. Sun matchup is also sack, but like that's a little bit more nuanced. But yeah, like the Sun matchup is a lot worse with Jolly Hark. I think generally speaking, like this team was cool. Sneasler was definitely a last minute addition, but I think Sneasler was definitely the correct call for this VR tour for another reason, and this is the meta reason, is because Sneasler shows up in any new format and finishes second place. So,
okay.
Had to be here.
I'd been playing with variants of this team for a little bit, and especially after the third VR tour where we got all the full pace, I was trying out both the Italian version and the Rebecca version. And I think especially, I'll say this: I don't believe in Sneasler. And it didn't sound like in the finals it pulled its weight into the team it was supposed to beat. But I do think what you said about the Psy Spam and Moltres really dunking on all the Psy Spam variants is definitely true. When I was playing with the Rebecca version that we'll talk about in a little bit, it definitely felt very, very weak to the Regidrago Psy Spam team. And I think that Moltres does do that specifically pretty well. And I was testing Nasty Plot when I was testing it, and I was very unimpressed because Moltres does not really do damage. So I like the fact that you had a choice specs on it to to let it get that immediate damage off as well. I thought that was a really cool way of building it out. So yeah, I'm definitely
Yeah.
like, I think that in general, this is an archetype that I wish that I this is something that I had identified and I didn't want to say because I was hoping it wouldn't be super popular, and then obviously kind of popped off. But like, even in Reg F Part 1, people I don't think fully appreciated how good Rock Dog is. And in particular, the Water Pond Rock Dog Landorus core was actually like low key really, really good throughout the format. It was on the snow team that won Utrecht regionals that Tio won with. And it was also on the team that got top 8 at EUIC with the Okidogi. And everyone looked at those teams and they thought about the other parts of it that were a little more unique and said, this is the part that's really strong. But yeah, the Fluttermane, Rock Dog, Water Pond, and I think Landorus is generally considered a core part of it, even though you dropped it. I think that core was something that people didn't really fully appreciate was actually one of the strongest cores in this format, and now we're starting to see a whole lot more of it pop up. And yeah, it's obnoxious, it's really strong, and it's one of the teams to beat going into Toronto for sure.
I would like to point out
Mhm.
that my Hark Water Pond core is not the same as all the other Hark Water Pond cores. Just like a small hint as to how my team plays, but every other Hark Water Pond core has max speed Hark and Water Pond. And the whole point of that is that's more of an offensive core, I feel like, instead of a defensive core, whereas my team plays significantly more defensively. Another reason why I tried fitting on this team with like my EV spreads and it just never worked. Another thing about this team is like, yeah, we say Sneasler is a little bit inconsistent. I think something that is to be noted though, which isn't too important. I did go 9-1 in Swiss instead of 8-2. So like this team really helped. Like this team was still really consistent, and there was one set where I played versus Julio Tarla, who I think is on this graphic. He finished 11th. He ran Volker on the balance, and Sneasler was very clutch in that matchup because after Intimidate, it still one shot a Terry Fairy Volker.
Wait, like
And
actually
I
after
don't think
intimidated, or
anyone
like with the white herb or whatever?
after Intimidate, because I've Gunk Shot, not
Got
Dire
it.
Claw. So Terra Fairy Volcarona it just died.
No, no,
After
I
I
just
qualified.
sorry, I got confused because I didn't know if like you got the white herb. I didn't know if the intimidate activated the white herb.
Yeah. So yeah, I had click close
You like
combat the
close
turn before.
combated earlier or something. I get it. I get it.
Yeah.
Um, okay,
But
cool.
yeah, like basically, yeah, like this team, even though there are inconsistent elements of it, and it definitely costed me at least a game in finals. Like Sneasler has like it. I could not. There would not have been a better six Pokemon for me this tournament than Sneasler.
No, it's sick. It's sick.
And
It gives
I do want
me.
to.
Go ahead.
Sorry, no, I was gonna say we're gonna get talk about the third VR tour where we have again kind of all the pace that got leaked. But one thing that I did see is that Roberta Perrette also took that same idea with the Sleesner and the Moltres and did really well there as well.
Sleesner.
So it does have Sneasler, excuse me. And so yeah, I definitely think it might have more staying power than I'm giving it credit for. For sure. It's a really cool idea. And also it is. I always like it when people find creative solutions to problems, and Sneasler being a way to beat balance, and balance players surely had not seen before this tournament, made them probably reevaluate their game plans. And now I think I've seen so many of the I've especially the week after this tournament, I saw this team everywhere on ladder. Everyone to try out Sneasler, which is really cool. And so yeah, I really love that people continue to push the metagame forward and continue to try out these new things like Moltres and Sneasler that hadn't seen a lot of play leading up to this tournament.
Yeah, can I just say one more thing about Sneasler?
If you got
Sure.
sure, one more thing. Let's do it.
Okay. Sneasler on this team in particular, with the very limited testing that they did with it, had shades of Life Orb Koraidon in the restricted formats, in the sense that even though you didn't have a Life Orb, you could pop Terra and then you just one-shot everything in the format. Ogre Pond was dropping, Urshifu was dropping, Raging Bolt was
Yeah.
taking almost
Stellar Gunk.
70%.
Stellar Gunk's
Dude,
crazy.
Stellar Gunk and Stellar CC a lot of damage. And
Oh yeah.
especially when you have Fake Out, it's a lot scary to click Fake Out into you. Although Jeremy was very, very bold in just clicking Fake Out into my Sneasler, both games we played. But
Yes.
a lot of other players, like you don't click Fake Out into Sneasler when Sneasler can easily Fake Out your partner that turn. So it's like very scary. In particular versus both Instant and Rillaboom, because if you fake out the Sneasler and Sneasler fakes out your partner, you've lost the turn. And otherwise, if you don't click fake out, then Sneasler can easily just one-shot you in return. So you're playing that very, very scary 50-50 already just to start one. And that's not even considering the fact that Sneasler can easily pop Terra Stellar and one-shot the partner, which is whether it's a Hearth Flame or something else like that.
Playing 50-50s,
So yeah, like
Jeremy would never, dude. I don't know. I don't know about this. It sounds like it just encourages a lot of guessing games.
No, I against Dorian, I led real up was Flutter. I didn't play a 50-50 by clicking fake out.
yeah,
I like it.
No,
I like it.
Jeremy didn't play it. Like Jeremy definitely outplayed me, and like I missed like 2 dunk shots. But yeah, like Sneasler should have, I will say, not it didn't, but it should have done something.
Yeah. We got another exciting team here in third that I want to start diving into. Because Taro using more of the same of these guys. I don't know. I keep throwing out random numbers for how many Pokemon fit on Fire, Water, Grass balance. What is the actual number, guys? Is it 9? Is it, what is it?
I've said 8. But I guess what's the 9th one?
Plus Ogerpon and
These
Lando,
guys.
is that it?
Ogerpon and Lando were the 2 that I was thinking of. Is there a 9th Pokemon that's common?
Maybe
on
there
these teams?
isn't a 9th. Maybe there isn't.
No, only
I've seen Amoonguss on
Jeremy's like, let me look in the builder. Let me see how many versions I got. I don't know. Just something about the look gave me like, let me check Showdown.
When we say Overpod, are we including Wellspring? I've seen Wellspring on Common Origin Bowl as well.
Yeah, you might see Wellspring sometimes. Honestly, you could probably lump them all together, though, the Ogerpons, sure. Amoonguss, yeah, you don't see Amoonguss very often because it feels like Rillaboom is kind of a staple. And Rillaboom, Amoonguss, not that common in this format, but you could get Amoonguss on this, for sure. And actually, that Whimsicott, that's Zach. Zach, you ran Screamtail, definitely not on the common list of Pokemon on this team, but you did have a Screamtail on stuff like this. I remember that. Anyways.
I would like to point out the Pain Split Flutter main.
That is cool.
Yeah.
Pain Split is kind of cool.
Yeah.
There's some cool sets.
Yeah. So Taro was actually my only loss in Swiss. And the main reason behind it is this Flutter main does not have Icy Wind, so Sneasler was sad. And especially because it's Terra Poison as well, which makes Sneasler even more sad. And Pain Split just made this Pokemon hell to remove. One of the things that I would improve on my own team is I have no way of hitting Poison types with super effective damage. So it was a slog. Like this Flutter main probably single-handedly won them the set as well. Like that fight was a slog because I just couldn't kill it. It had T-Wave and Pain Split. It was bad.
I think other. Go ahead, Adi.
I also just want to talk about the Chen Pao because
Right.
it's got Terra Grass, which is not something that we
No
see a
dark
lot
move.
of, and it's got Ice Shard. No dark move, just double ice. I've seen a little more Ice Shard over Sucker Punch recently. A little more consistent way of getting your priority move, and I do think it's very annoying. Especially with like T-Wave Flutter Main right now. Now you can consistently get that last bit of chip damage that you need to knock it out. So I do see the merit to Ice Shard, and Terra Grass, is less explicable, but I guess maybe you're really scared of the Urshifus and you really want a consistent way to beat Torrent Urshis. Is maybe the reason for that or something. But yeah, I definitely think Ice Shard
one of Raging Bolt's biggest problems is Landorus Amoonguss board, and Grass Chen Pao would help with that a lot.
True.
One last thing, very mild about this team, is that it's another high horsepower Rillaboom. I think we're going to continue to see it on the rise. A lot more people running it. It's just very helpful to have your Rillaboom be able to threaten more against opposing Incineroars, especially on the Hearthflame teams, because Hearthflame can't really hit fire types, so it's nice to have that. And then on top of that, being able to hit Raging Bolt as well. Of course, another big reason to have horsepower.
I would say Raging Bolt against in the Raging Bolt balance, I click high horsepower every game against Raging Bolt, so it's very against
so
my
good.
Raging Bolt particularly. Yeah.
Rillaboom's kind of a jerk
Raging
that
Bolt-
way. Because I was gonna say, hold on, really quick. Rillaboom's kind of a jerk that way because like his whole thing is like saying like we can't do Earthquake anymore. If I hit the field, Earthquake is done. But also, I still have like a basically 100 base power ground move that I get to use. That actually, it's like, I don't know. I guess horsepower is kind of rare distribution. They don't give it to everything. It's kind of crazy that this guy got it, dude. What the heck?
No,
Yeah.
I mean high horsepower, like Rillaboom, horse, Landorus not horse, Garchomp not
Yes.
horse, Ursaluna's a
Yes.
horse. Don't ask me.
Dude, imagine if Garchomp got it. He wouldn't have to click stupid moves. Yeah, Lando T as well. Adi, what were you saying though before I
No,
cut you off?
yeah. No, I was gonna say Raging Bolt in this tournament, in the VR2 had a 67% usage in day two. It was the
Yeah.
highest usage Pokemon in day two, and so yeah, it's just crazy. If I think that if it's like if it's at 40% usage, like we kind of expected, then high horsepower maybe not super worth it. 67%, and all of a sudden you start thinking, oh, maybe it is worth missing out on U-turn, which is such a good positioning tool to more consistently beat these raging bolts, even on the Assault Vest versions. I think Clear Amulet you definitely want it because now you can also hit the Incineroars really hard. But yeah, on Assault Vest it's a little more questionable. But when Raging Bolt gets that high usage, I think you got to start seriously considering it.
Now, a couple more teams we got to click through here. The Heatran making it into oh my god, that's a Magma Storm Wisp helmet Heatran. What the heck, dude? Otherwise, this is what the core of Tio's team, but it has a different Landorus, right? Because we lost Intimidate when we
Landorus.
dropped the Rock Dog.
Yes.
We had to bring it back.
Yep.
With a different Landorus.
We need
Sure.
a different rock like Sparon because Blizzard, Snowflake was not enough gambling.
Exactly.
Magma Storm. We need Magma Storm too.
I'm not really a
The
Heatran
Magma
believer,
Storm,
but I think
yeah.
I think Kian's been running it. I don't know if Kian got day 2 in this one or if it was just the next one. Where
I
Kian
will
gets-
say I
just-
played against the Snow team and Sneasler showed up again, but it showed up in an interesting way where it hit all its skunk shots and it missed all its close combats. Don't ask how that happened.
I have a quick
and
funny
if
one
you
about
are
the ice one.
interested
Maybe
in that,
yeah.
if you are interested in that Snow team, MDB did just post his version of this team on
Of
Twitter.
the
So
Heatran
you,
one?
you can, yeah, his recreation of it with the whole write up
That's cool.
about what everything does. And so yeah, you could definitely look at his Twitter. He has more details about that.
My funny little Snowcloak story is I played it at a local a couple weeks ago. It was actually Izzy, Audi, and my Icy Wind missed the Ninetales and hit the Articuno. And I was like, what the? How? That's not how this is supposed to work at all. And I actually wanted to hit the Ninetales, but it's fine. It worked out. Anyways, Candy, another strong builder here using, mostly just standard-ish stuff. I think we're seeing a slight. I mean, I don't want anybody to call me out and be like, oh my god, Alex, you're totally oblivious for not noticing this meta trend earlier. But I think we're seeing a slight uptick in Focus Sash Ursh being used a bit more. And honestly, if you want to be on the lookout, I think a lot of them are running Jolly as well. You get the jump on the Modest Landorus, which a lot of people are running Modest Landorus. And if you want to learn more about the spreads that people ran in the Victory Road Tournament 3, you can check out Adi's video where he covers that with very bad audio, as far as I heard. I didn't actually end up watching this one because he had very bad audio.
It wasn't
as well.
that bad. It was
wasn't
good,
that
but
bad.
it wasn't as bad.
It wasn't
Everyone kept
that
commenting,
bad?
dude. I went through 4 takes. I had 4 takes because the audio was.
I
awful.
saw that
one.
comment. I felt so bad. I was like, oh no. I actually didn't listen far enough to go through it. I just I'll be honest, the subject matter wasn't interesting enough for me, so I was just like, I watched the IV one, but that one I was like, I already know about all these teams because I've seen them, I've looked at them a lot. Okay, let's see. Other teams
I think for Raging Bolt balance, the only reason why it feels like Sash Urge if it was gotten more in usage, I think Mystic Water has also gotten more in usage. The thing is with the invention of Thundering Wave Flood, I mean, Scarf Urge completely fell off. Like it's non-existent anymore. Raging Bolt balance.
There's also a lot of. I guess you could run defensive
like
Terra,
Scarf
but it
Urge
just
Raging Bolt
feels.
balance just doesn't think it exists.
Yes. It feels bad to run Scarf on a Pokemon that is getting outsped and priority spammed. You have to go through a lot of. It definitely has positions where it pops off, but I feel like Scarf Urge falling off a good amount. By the way, really quick. I was gonna say, that if I was before, in the Twitch chat, people were talking about their teams, and I don't mind opening up the teams of people that come into the Twitch chat if they want us to open their teams, because honestly, if you're gonna come out here and give us a view, whatever, I'll open up your team really quick. You were 10th, right, Snorlax Pikachu? And running this. Okay, so it's like a more balanced version of the Drago offense stuff, where it has. I mean, it's definitely very aggressive, of course, but it's got It's got the fire, water, grass. This is what I like about the Iron Crown team, is that it still features Urshifu and Hearthflame as good fire, water, grass offense that can be really annoying, and then like that completely dodges the fact that you have to worry about dealing with Drago Golden Go running you over with strong spread moves. So you have like really strong physical moves and really strong. No, Bruno, I'm not gonna open that team. I'm not gonna open that team. Yeah, and then like Fari supporting that as well. I think that this one does seem pretty cool. I think Torn really wants Protect these days, though. I don't know. I feel like it just feels like a lot stronger when you got Protect, but that's fine.
I have
Zach,
a funny story about this team.
yeah, go ahead.
In the tournament, like I faced Mateo in top 16, and we went to game 3. The board was just like I was going to be eliminated from the tournament. The board was my Flutter, Terra Fairy, Flutter full HP against 1 HP Urshifu and a Farigiraf almost like at 80%. And like they just had to Trick Room plus Protect, then Surging Psychic. So I called that Terra Fairy, Moonblast, crit I rolled the Giraffe, and I won.
Oh my god, you found the needle in the haystack line and made it work? That's insane.
Yeah, and then I won the whole tournament. I would have won $0 if I didn't get the crit.
Oh my god. I gotta say, that's also the best way to do Pokemon stories. Just keep them short and concise. I love it. Yes. So Zach, you said your team was boring, but you're in the chat, so I'm gonna open it up really quick. And also, I'm not just opening it up because it looks somewhat like my Portland team. Oh, it's actually only got 4 of those guys, huh? Mm-hmm. And the sets are all different. Nobody runs safety goggles on Raging Bolt anymore. What happened to good, honest Pokemon? Safety goggles, Raging Bolt was such a bad set. Anyways, you're right. I'm closing it out, Zach. Your team's boring. I have nothing to say about it. Julio continuing to run Volcarona, also really funny. We got to keep it moving, though. Hoj, I think, has been running this team, so nothing crazy there. Anything
can we
crazy
just open up Koji's? Can we open up Koji's team? He plays 5th. It might no, not 6th. I mean, it might look familiar. But
yeah, the Wikiberry.
I believe this was the team that Arubega had adapted on.
Sure.
Which, yeah. So like it already.
Yeah, and it's got Sanseer as well. But otherwise, I don't know. I mean, like, yeah, there are a lot of similar choices to the other teams of this variant. So besides the Wikiberry Golden Go, the Wikiberry Golden Go is pretty cool. It is kind of funny that we've seen not Pinchberry. What do you want to call it? Superberry Golden Go do well multiple times this year. Wild. I mean, those berries really fell off after Gen 7.
Like that Raging Bolt set, which like I think I'm the first person to use it, but I've seen it around. That Raging Bolt set, like Terra Electric, like every Raging Bolt has been Terra Fairy and like Snarl. I don't like Snarl. So Terra Fairy, like Terra Electric with Dragon Pulse, not Draco Meteor. Like this set has been picking up a lot.
Yeah. No, I like Terra Electric Bolt. A very solid pick. Elizabeth's team, the first version of it, I guess we'll come back to it in the second pass because we're going to see it finish even higher. Another Sneasler. Whoa. This team does look very evil, though. Psychic Seed. Yeah, sure. Why not? Funny. We do have to keep it moving, though, because we have one more tournament to get into, and so let's do it. Pearl finishing down here at the bottom with a Screamtail on a balance team. Oh, it's actually... Is this Zach's team, or is it close to it? Maybe it's just close to it. I don't know. Cool. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the last one. So we've alluded to it several times over, but I'll just go ahead and say it here right at the top that yes, the the closed team sheet with EVs of all these teams have been accidentally leaked by Victory Road. They did put out a statement saying that they were apologizing for the error, and they did end up refunding all of the players that made day 2. This only affected the players that made day 2, by the way, the 39 or so players that made day 2, so they all got refunded. And yeah, obviously this is a very unfortunate thing to happen. Nobody wants to, enter a tournament with a team that they might want to use again, especially because, Victory Road tournaments, they've got their own stakes to them. People would love to win the grand prize, but they might want to, use this also as a testing ground for a regional upcoming. And so very unfortunate that the teams are out there. There is a tweet that has all of the teams publicly available if you want to go dig and find it. It's not that difficult to find. I don't love the enthusiasm of the person.
Video.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
the thing is like I've totally if it's public, it can be public for everybody. Like we don't need it to be like shared in inner circles, and you have to know a guy just to be able to get access to it. But it was just like it was with a bit of like a weird enthusiasm for like all teams should be public, and I was like, maybe not like that much like enthusiasm for sharing the knowledge, but sure, you know what, that's fine. And so let's go ahead and talk about the teams. So yeah, we ended up seeing the it's the metal coat version, but otherwise like some Terra changes, and maybe some slight move differences, but otherwise pretty much the same thing as we were just looking at. Good balanced stuff, and yeah, this core probably going to continue to persist and be everywhere. So not a whole lot to say about it, but
Yeah.
and over.
Well,
Oh,
we've talked
go
about
ahead,
that
Audie.
core a lot. But I'm curious if Dorian, if you have any thoughts about that version specifically. And I guess we can also lump in the Marco version as well that got top 4 and kind of talk about them at the
Yeah.
same time. 'Cause they're slightly different.
So I've mentioned this before. I think Marco's version is my team, but worse, and like almost
Everyone
everything
would say
except
that.
it beats the mirror. Yeah, except it beats the mirror, which is very annoying. And also, the mirror is
That's exactly
just
what I would say if
like
I didn't want people to keep running it and beating me.
I mean, sure. Like, yeah, you could consider that. Like, I'm just like throwing it out there, like this mirror, because I've actually like tried this mirror, like this exact mirror before. It's just whoever wins is whoever hits more Sansers. Um, that's pretty much this mirror matchup. Especially if you're like in like speed tie round. One thing which I would like to throw out is I think I did popularize this set, but the bold Thunderwave Fluttermane is everywhere now. The Fluttermane that lives
Yes.
everything, clicks T Wave, and then just completely just it's like crazy. Like I think every single Flutter main that's booster speed is either max timid to try to like still creep with Icy Wind, like still trying to do that. But like I think both Thunderwave Flutter main is like the meta set. Like I know Arabega's Flutter main was bold. I know Marco Silva was bold because it was revealed. But like
Right.
bold Flutter main is everywhere. Um, and yeah, like this core, I think like I also had a version of the team with Golden on it. Golden is my favorite Pokemon. I did try it. I never really enjoyed it too much. One main reason behind it is Hisuian Arcanine, Raging Bolt, Golden gave you 3 ground weaknesses, and that just never really felt too good. But it does seem like Arabega was able to make it work. So
Mm-hmm.
that very interesting to me. But yeah, like all the sets are the exact same sets that like I tried to run. Like I think I was the first person on Terra Grass, assuming Arc 9. I was the first person on on this Raging Bolt set, as I mentioned before. So like it's good to see that this set is being very popular. But like it's also not good to see because the mirror is very hard in this matchup, especially because you have to speed creep everything, but that just makes the matchups like against other teams like worse across the board.
Yeah, I think a lot of people will be paying attention to this one, not because it's just like another Victory Road tournament. They have a lot of metagame impact, but Arabega is a name that carries a lot of weight when it comes to team building because people are like, oh, this person basically built a world championship winning team because they really know how to assemble good Pokemon. And taking it and winning a tournament with it themselves, that's just going to get a lot of attention, of course. So
Yeah.
definitely really cool to see. And yeah, actually, quickly passing through the second one because it doesn't have anything too crazy, but deciding to go for the keeping the assault vest on Bolt, but also keeping the booster energy on Flutter, you do kind of wonder what's left for Raging Bolt. Safety goggles totally available. Nobody wants to run safety goggles on their Bolt, dude. Come on, what the heck? No, it's such a bad item. Life Orb. I faced this one on like ladder earlier today, and I was like, oh, I haven't really seen that. And then now I see this here. I kind of forgot. I don't know. I just because this team's so boring, I assumed that it didn't have anything too interesting to it. But Life Orb Bolt, that's kind of fun. Terra Electric, just do some mad damage.
I mean, thankfully it wasn't leftovers. Would have made it very sad to look at.
Yeah, exactly. It'd been so much more boring. So much more boring. Okay, Elizabeth's team. I actually tried this one out on stream yesterday, and I was climbing. I was like actually I was going up with it, and I was like, I was surprised at how easy it was to pick up and play. The thing about this team that was the most impressive, something that the doubters might look in at it and be like, I don't really know about that, is the Heat Rock. Heat Rock, I was like, are we really using these weather extending items in VGC? Like, are those good? Nobody's ever really had a strong history with it. I don't know, Adi. Tub might have been using Damp Rock at the first Scarlet and Violet one, right? Were we looking at it back then for Pella?
We did not. We ran Light Orb Pelipper at the first one. I think, but I actually
I
mentioned
feel like
in
we
my
might have been
in
looking
my
into it. Go ahead.
we might have been looking at Damp Rock, but I remember when in my rain video that I released at the start of this format, I mentioned that I seriously considered Damp Rock Pelipper for Vancouver Regionals last year,
Sure.
2 years ago now. And for the same reason, this format doesn't actually have a lot of weather setters. Torkoal is like, I mean, there is Ninetales, obviously, that's the big one, but like you're not going to see a ton of Pelipper, like you said, Alex, in DMs. When's the last time you saw a Pelipper other than in that one VR tour? Sun now picking up in usage. We're going to see a couple of Sun teams, but obviously, if you're playing Sun, you don't mind Sun being up. And that's kind of it. There's not really Tyranitar's unless you're exactly Michael
Just the
saying.
manual weather, really, right?
Yeah, just the manual weather. And so, like, you're going to get 8 turns of Sun if you have a Heat Rock Torkoal most of the time. And I think that, a lot of times that I was playing Sun in other formats, it was kind of hard to get your Torkoal in a position where you can get a second set of Sun turns up. It's really easy for them to stall out those 5 turns and win the game against your Walking Wake that really needs that speed boost. I think this is speed boost. It might not be.
This is special attack. This one's special attack, yeah.
This special attack boost? Okay. Or, the Flutter Mane or whatever, the Raging Bolt, all these different things that need the Sun. And so I think that the weather extending items actually probably do have a place in this metagame, both on Torkoal and on Pelipper.
Yeah, it's cool.
I would like to comment on the team a little bit.
Yeah.
Loligan Hisui is a well-known gambler. You want to know how to make it more gambly? You remove the Terra Ghost and you add upper hand, because that would make it so fun to play.
Listen, when I played with it, upper hand, not very good. I did not like upper hand. Stellar, actually quite good, even without any way to protect it. I mean, maybe upper hand is protecting it from priority moves,
Yeah,
but
that's the point. Like, the point is upper hand is protecting the Stellar Terra. Like, that's the point.
But the Stellar felt so nice, especially with Helping Hand. You could like Oko Ogre Pawns. You could Oko a lot of things with Helping Hand plus Stellar. So that was pretty cool. And then this is also what I was talking about with Covert Cloak on Walking Wake. It just felt like there were so many endgames where I was fighting Landorus plus Fluttermane, and you can't normally Terra Fire into Landorus plus Fluttermane. You'll dodge the Moonblast KO, but then you'll get Icy Winded and killed by Earth Power. And in this case, I got to Terra Fire, completely wall out the Fluttermane, and just Hydro Steam the Landorus for a kill, without having to worry about my speed getting dropped. If I'm fighting Thunderwave, yeah, it's probably a different story. Actually, let's talk about that part really quick. One more note about this one is the Fluttermane is Speed Booster, and it does feel like Speed Booster specs Flutter. It feels like a decent way to get around these very physically defensive Fluttermanes, is to just have a special attacker that's going to probably outrun them because you're running more speed than the max HP, max defense Flutters. And so special attack, Speed Booster Flutter with choice specs, maybe a Terra Fairy, maybe a Helping Hand to back it up. Good way to dunk on these super physically defensive Flutters, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like one of the main issues I think with this particular Flutter set, based on like the release DVs, is that spec Shadow Ball is actually usually not picking up opposing max HP Fluttermane.
Yeah, that's real. That'll happen.
Yeah,
you might need
you need like Helping Hand, and then like one of the main reasons why like I think the Sun team is cool is I think the single biggest reason not to use Sun is opposing Raging Bolt, because the opponent never had an ability, and now you gave it one. But
yeah, right.
Yeah, but like this team having a Landorus, I think, is incredibly interesting to be opposing Raging Bolt. Again, I think Sandsir Lando picking up, I think, is very sad for everyone involved. But like, yeah, I think it might be necessary on this team because it is definitely more of the HO angle. I will say, like, I've also faced this team a couple of times on the ladder. It does feel like Hisuian Loligan is the star of the show. So
right.
No, I think it's Walking Wake the star of the show. It's against my team. It's just Okoing everything in my team. Like
yeah, I mean, yeah.
Like Terra Fire, Flamethrower, Oko's Ogre Pond, Hydro Steam, Oko's Insane, Oko's Lando, regular Flamethrowers, Oko, Myrilla, Draco, Oko's my Raging Bolt, and my Flutter can't. Like Icy is useless, and Moonblast and Dazzling Gleam is useless against the Terra Fire. So yeah. Like, I hate this Walking Wake.
That's awesome though. It's so cool. I don't know.
I've never thought about it that way because Corvothok Walking Wake doesn't feel particularly good into my team. Mainly just because of Thunder with Flare main. And
Sure.
also another thing that I think is very annoying as well is that Stellar Solar Blade is not a guaranteed pickup onto Flutter main as well, like the bold Flutter mains.
Well, yeah,
So,
the bold ones, they're
uh,
just crazy, and we're talking about a Lilligant here at the end of
yeah,
the day. It's
yeah,
not the
but
strongest
it's
thing.
like I think the main reason, like every single time I play against this team and I think about other archetypes, I think it is this Lilligant Hisui that drives this team to like be good. But crucially, this Lilligant Hisui also doesn't have after you, so you can't do that after you eruption play that Lilico players love making. But also this Torkoal is definitely a lot more defensive. Very
It is,
crucial
yeah.
to note. Yawn is like very valuable on this team. From
It was good.
what I've considered
I was
because
surprised by that, but I
yeah,
liked it
with
too.
this very supportive Torkoal set, you don't really need more damage boosting or protection, but you can just play a more supporting role, helping hand and Yawn.
Yeah, usually it's Lilligant that helps Torkoal, but in this team it's Torkoal that helps Lilligant.
True.
Uh,
And everything else is so funny. Elizabeth, another very strong builder. So a lot of people going to be looking at this team. I mean, the Ting Lu team, I still haven't seen the end of that one. People loving running that one. And that one wasn't actually a completely original Elizabeth build, but Elizabeth was kind of the one that helped put it on the map, and a lot of people pay attention to what they're using. So, yeah, with that, let's see any other. Oh yeah, we got to talk about. I mean, while we're talking about Sun, you got to talk about Sun. This team also features Heat Rock Torkoal, and Walking Wake and Flutter. Instead, it has that Instant Fari, like we were kind of seeing in the last format in Regulation H, safety goggles instead of like a clear amulet or anything like that, and a Choice Scarf Great Tusk. That's the one that, of course, everyone's probably looking at the most because this guy was a beast in like the first, I don't know, 1/4, maybe not quite 1/3 of Scarlet and Violet, like one, a fraction of the first year of Scarlet and Violet. It was pretty solid.
He was in good in exactly Series B.
No,
No,
okay,
it
you're
was
right. It wasn't
good
good
in
in A.
C2.
It wasn't good in A.
It
You're
was
right. It
so
wasn't good in A
funny.
because it wasn't legal. It was probably okay in C. Oh man, was he just a single format demon?
And C, it just saw Chiyu and was scared. Like Chiyu Flutter and was
and
scared.
you could use Tinglu if you wanted a ground type. So people use Tinglu.
Dang.
Yeah.
But
I do think
Regulation B,
the
dude.
scarf rate list is pretty cool.
Dude,
No,
I
wait,
know
no,
what Great
Talon
Tusk
Tusk
voted
was a
for.
thing, right? Talon Tusk was a thing. Okay, go ahead. It was maybe a thing in C.
I know what format Great Tusk voted for. I'm saying. I think I know what format Great Tusk wanted to come back. Holy. Yeah, kind of cool to see. Cause one, it's funny that Great Tusk can beat Landorus because it has Ice Spinner now. That part's kind of goofy. And otherwise just does a lot of strong ground damage. I'm still not convinced that it's that much better than just having a Landorus. Because you have to jump through like Intimidate hoops. The other big thing about Great Tusk that doesn't really sell me on it is close combat and headlong rush are actually not really that helpful of coverage for each other. Like they're not really hitting things that the other one doesn't. But I bet that Great Tusk, if it has like an attack boost in the sun and you don't have Intimidate to back it up, it probably deals with these Flutter mains. It probably really does a lot of damage. I'm hoping
It
that.
also Terra Steel Ironhead.
I'm hoping that it kills. Yeah, but I don't want to click Ironhead. I want to click Ironhead in a pinch. I want to click Headlong Rush otherwise, right? Come on.
Yeah, another thing which I actually see on this team, and I'm very confused why other people don't try it at least, is Psychic Noise on Photograph. Because why do you have to activate your throw serve with Hyper Voice only? Just why? Yeah, run
I
Psychic
can kind
Noise.
of answer that one. It's just because Psychic Noise doesn't do damage, and if you want your Fari to do damage, you want it to be able to like do damage outside of just Hyper Voice. It's cute. It's definitely cute. I like it, but
It doesn't kill Urshifu, right? That's the main thing.
that's
I think
it.
that was
That's
the reason
pretty
we
much
didn't.
it.
We were scared of it in reg whatever G, I think.
I thought Psychic Noise did kill Urshifu. Maybe I'm wrong about that.
At the +1, yeah, maybe with the +1. I think we're talking about like at neutral, which is like kind of an
I'm
important
saying
thing
even
because
at
sometimes you
neutral,
might be at
Psychic
neutral.
Noise picks him. I'm not sure.
Oh yeah. What's funny is we're actually talking about so many calcs, but we definitely will not have time for Calcas right today. So, unfortunately, but yeah, The Banded Lando team, if you believe in Lando T, then this might be the team for you. I'm a hater of this Pokemon. I think he's terrible. His strongest move is
Did
Fire
you just
Punch,
skip
but
over
ground
the
type.
Iron Valiant?
Did I skip? Oh, you're right. I did skip over the Valiant. You know what? I'm skipping over the Valiant because I also think it's just worse than the Fluttermane. Like, why would I not just run a Booster Flutter? I don't think coaching is valuable enough to run this Pokemon that is just Booster Flutter, but worse. That's my take.
Yeah, like it's Terror Ghost. Like it's trying to do its best Fluttermane impression.
We haven't
Yep.
covered the Snow Dozo Glim, and it sounds like Ian is here telling
and
us that they got day 2. Oh man.
I do want to point out Cress had a great performance this tournament. I think there were 3 in day 2. Not a Pokemon we saw very often, but actually really overperformed. Is making a comeback. And yeah, there's the Dozo, there's the Glib. That team. Ooh, fun stuff, huh? I think that
evil.
low key, like, that being said, T-Wave Flutter, if your Dozo gets T-Waved, like, and then, like, I think it gets a lot worse. Like, it suddenly no longer has speech things, like, you just have a chance of not moving, and you only get 1 Pokemon, and so I think that Dozo kind of has a hard time now that T-Wave Flutter that can, like, live an attack from Dozo is kind of everywhere.
I will say with Clear Amulet, that problem is slightly better because Fluttermane cannot live +2 Wave Crash. It lives +1,
Yeah.
but it cannot live +2 Wave Crash. So, like Clear Amulet would help with that. Nevertheless, you are getting paraflinched by that T-Wave Flutter team. So
true. So true.
You're gambling. Like all of those moves become like how I'd like to put it else is all your moves become 75% accurate, including Protect. So, yeah. You're just gambling.
I am really curious about Cress, Adi, as you mentioned it. It's just like, I don't know. I mean, I think you don't see a lot of Cress used in general, and it feels like they are somewhat rising to the top. So it feels like it must be working. You know, it must be like it's not like a very common pick.
Cress is good into like, I think like Cress
Lando, right?
is like good into both Bolt Balance and like the Flutter Heart stuff.
And then
it's like pretty decent.
and then Lunar Blessing notably like heals T-Wave, which is kind of cool and potentially very
fun.
useful nowadays.
So true. Crest did win a regional in Ragdoff. Yes, it did. Dude, this is my favorite section of it. I do love how Victory Road organizes their teams to just make samey teams look even more samey. Because like this block right here, you could get lost staring at this block and just being like, oh god, it's all the same. Yeah, so funny.
I'm not sure how Victory Road organizes this. I kind of like thinking about the fact that I think Victory Road organizes the mons from shortest to tallest. I know that's not true, but it's always very funny to see Raging Bolt being the 6th Pokemon.
Right. They got a system. Down, and it works.
It's least horse-like to most horse-like.
Oh.
Yeah.
Why
Most
is
likely least likely to learn high horsepower.
Does Raging Bolt learn high horsepower? I don't think so.
No, it doesn't.
No.
I don't think so.
The funniest move on Bolt that you might see but probably won't often is like it gets like taunt. I think sometimes you'll get like taunted in closed sheet and be like,
I've ran
"What?"
that before.
Like, why? Why are you? Why does this thing get taunt?
Maybe I'll put that in the GC team.
Yes. Covert Cloak taunt Bolt as your like trick room counter. They'll just never expect it.
Bolt enjoyers run Dragon Hammer.
Oh, Dragon Hammer! Yes. Yeah, I'm glancing through, and I'm not seeing anything too crazy. But if you do want to see more about these teams, it's all out there. And in fact, you'll probably see a lot of it on Ladder. People running these teams because they basically were accidentally all made publicly accessible, so everybody can just give them a spin if they want to. And yeah, so I think we'll probably end up wrapping it up there because we're a little bit over time. And I mean, over the course of talking about some of the previous ones, we dived into a lot of similar concepts here on these teams anyways. And this is what the metagame's going to look like now is the super bulky Flutter, still a lot of Fire, Water, Grass stuff, Sun picking up, maybe keep an eye out for Sun. Yeah. Anyways, thank you both for joining us this week, Dorian and Jeremy. It was a lot of fun getting to talk to you both.
Thank you. It was fun.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you are here now and you did not catch the beginning, this is going to be up on Audie's YouTube channel tomorrow. So check it out on Audie's YouTube channel, CK49 on YouTube. He's also been posting some early champions content and stuff like that. So definitely check out those videos as well. And with that, I'm gonna figure out who we're gonna throw the raid over to. We should be back next
gonna-
week. Go ahead.
We'll send you to Nino Pokebros, who is hosting a Reg F tournament or playing in a Reg F tournament.
Sick. Rip Calc is always right. Yeah, this one just it was after such a long break, we did not have time to do. There's so many subjects we wanted to fit in here, and I didn't really want to cut anything out, you know. So oh well.
Next week is a there's lots to talk about, so we'll definitely get to it.
For sure. All right, y'all have fun. Say hi to Nino for us, and have a good rest of your evenings. Catch you later, people. Peace out.